Yeah. Black Man Unfiltered Network. We ain't here to play nice. We here to flip everything they told you was normal. Hey! Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we flipping tables. Yeah. We breaking labels. Facts. No more silence, no more favors. Truth hit hard, can't save it. Yeah. We flipping tables. This that real, no cable. Hey, if it's fake, we unplug it. Welcome to the table. Yeah. I came in the room, they was comfortable, quiet. Smiling in your face, but behind it is riot. They told me be calm, but I'm built for the storm. When the truth in the building, you better transform. They don't like a man when he speak with direction. They love you when broken, confused, and correction. But I'm on a mission, I'm changing perception. No filter, no fear, just raw intersection. System designed just to keep you disabled. Mentally trapped, spiritually labeled. I'm cutting the cords, the lies getting fatal. If it ain't the truth, I'm flipping in the table. We flipping tables. Yeah, we breaking labels. Facts. No more silence, no more favors. Truth hit hard, can't save you. Yeah, we flipping tables. They said don't question, I said watch me. Too many men out here living sloppy. No guidance, no code, no structure, no lead. Now we wonder why families bleed. This ain't hate, this accountability. Look in the mirror with this vulnerability. Masculine frame with responsibility. That's what they fear, that stability. I'm calling it out, no sugar, no glaze. We breaking these cycles, we shifting in the phase. Legacy built, not lost in the maze. We done being silent, we enter in rage.
This ain't just a podcast. It's a movement, it's a reset. If it's built on lies, it gotta fall.
We flipping tables, no fear, no fables. Black men rise, we stable. Now we changing the label. We flipping tables. Truth is non-negotiable. Black man unfiltered. This the voice, they ain't controlling. Flippin' Tables podcast. Black Man Unfiltered Network. If it don't make you uncomfortable, it ain't real.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Flippin' Tables out here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network, man. Thank you for being here. If it's your first time being here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Share with 2 people you love and 1 person you do not like. Send it right now. If you want to give to the channel, you see the Cash App scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Or if you want to give a super chat, you can also do that at the bottom of the chat. Go ahead and take care of your boy there. Also, tonight, we got a good show. We got a good show tonight. We're going to discuss some things tonight. And guys, if you want to be a part of the show, pinned in the chat is the StreamYard link. Just click the link, come on up, make sure your camera's on, make sure your background look good, make sure your kids not running behind you butt naked, chasing popsicles or anything like that. Make sure you good to go. All right. And I'd appreciate that. All right. So without further ado, I want to bring up a guest that I reached out to, and he came, and he's a man of his word. We got Mr. Chosen in the building tonight, and I want to bring him up. He can introduce himself, tell you what he does, who he is in this space, and we'll go from there, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Chosen. He's in the building, man. What's going on, man? You're muted. Mute monster got you.
Thank you so much. How are you doing?
Man, I'm good. So introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are, what you do, how they can follow you, so on and so forth.
Perfect. My name is Jonathan. I am a couples therapist. I've been that for the last 10 years. I guess really my story is kind of crazy. Over the last 2 years, Instagram kind of blew up for me. And, I was about 2 years ago, and I looked at my wife and I said, we've tried multiple businesses, nothing really stuck. We'd get little starts here, little starts there. And I said, I'm just going to start posting every single day on Instagram. It can't be that hard, right? Elon Musk is like tweeting a million times a day and whatnot.
Right.
So yeah, I just started posting on Instagram, and yeah, the page just kind of went insane. And then now we're 2 years going strong and just continuing to build a community of people that want to be chosen and cherished. So
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, you know, kudos to you, man, and your wife. And I'm glad to hear that everything blowing up for you, brother. Everybody finds their niche, and when they find that niche, it'll take you far. So, man, congratulations to you. Now I want to hop right into this conversation. Since you are a relationship therapist, what do you think about, before we get into the subject of the night, what do you think about dating in this world today? The world that we're living in, everything that you're seeing on social media, the behavior. What do you see? Like, do we have a chance, or are we just cooked?
I think we're cooked, but the smart people are gonna thrive. You know, I met my wife, we're going back 18 years. This was way before Tinder, Hinge, and all that. But I did meet her on eHarmony. And I remember, you know, we decided to be boyfriend, girlfriend. We were about 3 months in, and we started meeting each other's family and whatnot. And we had to tell people how we met. And this is like, we were like one of the very first couples on eHarmony. And so to tell people that you met online was a scary thing. There was a lot of shame and embarrassment wrapped up in that. Fast forward today, it's the most normal thing. And I think because it's so normal and it's so, you know, it's so coupled to our attention span. So, you know, back in the day, you would go to a bar, you'd meet someone, you know, you'd at least have 30 seconds with them to try and, you know, convince them to let you buy them a drink or something.
Right.
Now you got like 30, you know, a third of a second where someone's just going to look at you and swipe, look you and swipe, look you and swipe. And that should really tell a lot of people something, that attractiveness is not something that is just limited to a physical appearance. Attractiveness lives in the mind, right? And so if you understand this and you really want to get out and you want to connect with people and you want to build a relationship, you want to have a relationship, when you live online and you're just swiping and you're just scrolling people, you know, the way we scroll Instagram posts these days, you're really not tapping into your greatest asset, which is your mind. And I think we all know people that are really attractive physically, but they have shit personalities. And you're like, I would never date you, right? You're like terrible, right? But you also know people that are kind of mid, that, you know, that don't have necessarily the looks, but just through their kindness, through their charisma, through their, you know, their general demeanor, their attractiveness level grows. And so I think people, if you know this, that attractiveness lives in your mind, not just in the physical appearance, I think you can kill it out there. But if you're just going to limit yourself to social media, I think you'll be cooked for sure.
So I always have an icebreaker video when I start the show. And there's this new trend going around that women say they want to be married, but they don't want to live in the same household as the husband. Have you been hearing this?
I have, and this actually goes back to the Netherlands, probably since the 60s and the 70s. Over there they call it living apart together. So you'll actually be married. You can actually be, you know, legally married and not live in the same dwelling. It's very rare, but yeah, it's starting to see a resurgence here now too.
Oh, I have a video I want to share with you.
I'd love to see it.
Oh my God, here we go.
The man that I am married to, Senator Vincent Hughes, 7th Senatorial District of Philadelphia, he has his own life. I have my own life. He has his own real career. I have my own real career. He has his light to stand in. I have my light to stand in. So he is not looking at me thinking about status or this or that. He's doing his thing. I get to do my thing. We also live in separate places. When I go to see him, love to see him. When it's time to leave, bye-bye, see you soon. I'm telling you, life is good. Perfect. I get to be the real good wife.
I'm looking for a man who's willing to be in a monogamous relationship with me while he lives in his own separate house. like Whoopi always says. But I want to be, but I'm not looking.
Yeah.
See, I'm looking. When we get together, the house could be next door, Sonny.
No,
well, open the window.
She doesn't want to live in the same house with you, though.
You know why? Because I've been living alone for so long.
Yeah.
I like my space. Here's what kills me. It's a dude all up on you. It was like, okay, do what we gonna do and get the hell out. I don't want to be sitting up under you.
Yeah. So it's not a marriage, though. You don't want a marriage. You want to like.
No, I want a marriage. I want a marriage.
I know exactly what you're saying.
That's right. But because I don't want to sin. What if, okay, I met the guy, we sing God Comes Back Tomorrow. Now I done messed up my walk with Christ.
Okay.
So what I'm looking for the guy. No, I'm honest.
Or do you want to date? You think?
I mean, I'm kind of dating, but like closet dating, I guess you could say.
That's fair. So you're not lonely.
I'm never lonely. I can have a whole party by myself.
Well, that's true. That's true. We had Kiki on. Do you guys remember? She broke the internet when she said, sure, I'll be with someone, but I don't need him to live in my house.
Down the street.
You agree? He doesn't need to be in the house?
I mean, sometimes, look,
Okay.
sometimes he needs to be in the house.
But other than that, you're good.
I'm good. I think I've gotten to a place where I really enjoy my own company. I work a lot and my priorities are different. And I've always been in a relationship, so it's kind of nice to not be in one.
It's inspiring.
It is. It's good.
Never want to live together.
You're so quick. Should I take it personally?
I like my alone time.
But is that real?
That's real. I feel like, Whoopi Goldberg said it best once. She was like, I don't want nobody in my house.
Yeah.
And I just feel that.
Time out. You're for real right now.
I'm
She's
for real.
So what about, like,
married even.
So you're married? He's gonna live around the corner?
Around the corner would be great.
What about a guest house? Would you let him live in the guest house?
He can be in the guest house. You know what I'm saying? We can be on the same, land, but I'm over there and he's over there.
Yeah.
At best, separate rooms.
Okay. So what about, you go to the bathroom, you have the 2 toothbrushes?
No, so he can mess my bathroom.
Is that your hot take? So if that's your hot take.
That's one of them.
And that's a hot. I can't close my mouth.
But think about how fun it would be to be like, I'm going over to my man's house.
Yeah. Over there.
Over there.
You know what? It keeps things right.
It's fun and exciting. I want to go sit on his couch.
All right. I have a little compilation there for you so you can see it coming from different mouths and influencers influencing. So as a therapist, what are your thoughts after you've seen this trash?
Yeah, there's definitely an undercurrent that men aren't creatures you want to live with. I feel like all these women have been watching The View too much, and so they're they're brainwashed into that belief that men are really part of the problem. And to be honest, the worst is that when you open up Instagram and you'll find other men's coaches out there really, solidifying this idea that men are the problem in the world today. And we can't cook, we can't clean, we can't take care of ourselves. We could barely be trusted with the laundry. And I think that's the mantra that's just kind of regurgitated on social media and then on TV shows like The View. So, I mean, more power to those women if they want to, live alone. That's a personal choice. I have no problem with that, but I wouldn't advise a guy to go and find a woman like that because I think it's just a recipe for loneliness. I think they underplay or downplay the importance of just being in someone's presence and sharing a life together, building a life together. There's a lot of joy and togetherness. I would not be shocked if these women were divorced 1 or 2 times. So that would make total sense to me that they probably don't want to live with a guy. Maybe they just had a bad experience. But
so in a situation like yourself, if your wife came to you tonight and said, you know what, babe, I think that we need more space. I love you. I want to stay married to you. However, you get your house, I get my house, and we'll just see each other when we see each other. What would be your response?
Yeah, it would be a hard no for me. Yeah. I would say, great. It sounds like you don't want to be married anymore because I'm not going to be married and not live with my wife. Mostly because I have a need to provide and protect for my family. And so, I believe in Christ and I believe that 2 become one flesh. And so for me, that's like, we are together all the time. That would just be a hard no for me. So.
Right. And the majority, so I'm glad you said that because I'm also a Christian as well. So in becoming one and all those things that we preach over here. But my question is this: all those women that you just saw, they were mentioning, even Cheryl Underwood was mentioning Christ. She was like, "You're going to mess up my walk with Christ, but we can stay in separate homes." You just spoke of the scripture of becoming one. So isn't that hypocrisy?
Well, I would say that it's definitely not cherishing your spouse, saying, I don't want to be near you, or it's time for you to go home. That's not language that would make me feel like someone's being cherished in the words of the Bible. Right. So for me, and honestly, if you have to live your life wondering if you're walking in Christ, you're probably doing it wrong. I live my life following Christ, and what he tells me to do, I do. And when I don't do it well, I don't try to cover my tracks. I ask for forgiveness, and I move on with my day, and I endeavored never to make that mistake again. Right. But I'm not trying to like fool anyone by, being married so that I can have a sexual relationship with someone. But then not live with them, which is kind of what I think that she wants. She wants a sexual relationship with a man, but she doesn't want to do that out of wedlock, right? So
yeah. Because one of the things she said was, I don't want a man all up under me. I want him to do his thing and get out.
Yeah.
And so that I think that's ridiculous.
I wouldn't call sex doing a thing, right? Like that to me is kind of in the opposite of what it is. Sex is the manifestation of love between two people, right? It's the expression of love. It's the gateway to emotional connection. And a lot of women will say you need emotional connection before you have physical connection, but I would disagree. I would say that you need both. It's not an either or.
So then does it become a mental game? So this is a great conversation. So does it become like a mental, I'm not going to say mental illness, but does it become a strain on the mind of people who, because you just said sex is the gateway to love and connection with a person. So what about people who are being promiscuous, who are out having sex with multiple people? How, as a therapist, how are you helping a woman or a man that comes to you, and a woman comes to you and say, "Hey, listen, I want to connect with my man, but I've had all these sexual partners, and I want to connect, and I know the gateway to connection is what you said biblically." But, I mean, how do you help a person in that situation?
Well, I think what that type of promiscuity, I see that as a sin of the flesh, right? So we all understand the word of God, and we all Christ is our Lord and our Savior, right? But He's our Lord, and so it's our job to listen to what He has to say, follow the Scripture, and walk in that path. And so if we can't, or if we're not doing that well, then for me it's just more a maturity issue than anything, right? All of us make mistakes. I remember being a young boy at 13 years old, and I would go to the corner store and I would steal a bag of chips and a pop, right? and like obviously that wasn't good, but I didn't have a father around, right? I had no leadership in my household, so I had to learn, and thankfully I never got caught. But actually, probably it would have been better if I did get caught. I had to learn that lesson on my own. It would have been great if I had an authority figure teaching me, but that was a maturity issue. And so I came to learn that, stealing is not okay. It's not what we're meant to do. And so, you can kind of look at your track record. Maybe that person goes through their diary and looks back and says, I slept with this person, this person, this person. That's not the path that I want to lead. Well, then how am I going to get back to the path that I want to be on? And I think that's that internal motivation to mature that we need to tap into. So.
Absolutely. All right. But before we move on, my co-host is here tonight. Lost in Translation is in the building, so I'm going to welcome him up so we can have this conversation. What's going on, Lost in Translation? How you doing, man?
How you doing, brother? You doing all right, gentlemen?
Good, man.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for asking.
So I want to get deeper into this because I understand that you coming from a biblical perspective, and that's what we love here. And so you say everybody makes mistakes. Now, when does that thing become overboard or too much? Like when it's too much, like what you're seeing out in the world today. Like if you are counseling a woman or a man and they were telling you, hey, listen, my resume says I have 70 bodies under it. You know, do you feel like there's connection, or a woman or a man can, and I think it affects women more, but you could probably talk to that because you're the expert in that. But I think sexual partners affect women more. But what do you say to a woman who is trying to recover, or do you feel like, you know, it's going to be hard for her moving forward or trying to find someone or connect with someone?
I don't think that it needs to be hard to find someone. You know, if you look at, I think there's that Whatever podcast that's pretty famous, right? And, you know, they like to shame women based on their body counts, right? Well, shame was never found in the Bible in my view. Like that would require me to judge someone, right? So I can't judge another person. You know, one of the first lessons I learned in the Bible, and I didn't come to the Bible until I was in my 20s, by the way. But I came to learn that judge and be judged. Like that was the simple statement that I needed to hear to extract from the Bible to know that I wanted to live a life where I wasn't going to judge people. So in my view, someone who's made those decisions in the past, and I wouldn't even call them mistakes, I would call them decisions that they made in the past. I'm not going to shame a person, right? If someone wants to, you know, quit alcohol, quit drugs, stealing, you know, they should be forgiven, right? Like that's, you know, one of the biggest things. Lord is Christ is our savior, right? But we all go and, you know, when we're standing at the gates of heaven, we want to be forgiven for our sins. So we're taught forgiveness, yet so many of us have a difficult time with forgiveness, right? It's one of the hardest things. Uttering the words "I forgive you," like if more people could say that those three words, you'd probably have the amount of divorces that are happening in America and in the world today. But that said, I would say someone who has made those decisions in the past, they should be forgiven. But then you also asked, you know, how much is enough, or, you know, when is it too much? I would say the Lord presents us with the test or the lesson until we finally learn it, right? So maybe 70 is not enough for that woman or that man. Maybe they need to creep up to 100 before they really wake up and decide I want to mature, right? But I 100% have to have faith in people that, you know, if a woman came to you and said, you know, I've got a body count of 20 or 30, that was in my 20s, and I don't want that anymore. I want to find one man. I want to commit. I want to raise a family. I want to be loyal, honest, faithful, transparent. You know, if they've actually done the work and they've matured and they've built that new track record, why wouldn't we forgive them? And I definitely think the last thing we need to do is to go out and shame women for choices they made, because we know men have made horrible choices in mankind's history. So
now, do you believe that, because biblically, if we do look at it biblically, I think some of the sins in biblical form were, especially when it came to that, women who were very promiscuous. They in the Bible days, they were taken out and stoned to death. You know, they were punished harshly for being promiscuous. And I think that there is nothing stopping it today. I was watching some videos a couple of weeks ago about what's going on in Houston. Have you heard about Houston?
No.
There are 64 after spring break, 64,000 new cases of STIs. And they have videos that I cannot show on YouTube, or I'll be kicked off forever, that have leaked from some of those events where men were passing by and women were stopping them and pulling their pants down and giving them fellatio, and then handing it off to their friend, and they're doing it to the guy. And then, you know, they have girls in the backseat of cars just on top of me, and everybody's recording with their phones and having sex in front of everybody. Like, when you say we're cooked, I believe when you see those videos of people just randomly having sex in front of people out in crowds, and I saw a guy fingering a girl in a concert, and she just sitting there just climaxing in front of everybody. And it's just, nobody cares anymore. So it's like, what do you think about that culture of sexual promiscuity?
don't think it's worth stoning people over, but it's definitely worth asking them how it's benefiting their life, right? Um, but I do still think that there's opportunity in there, because I think on the if that's kind of shoved down our throats, then somebody wants to pick up the other side of the equation and say, I actually want to find one person to be with. I want to be monogamous. I don't want to have, a public display of my intimacy. I want to be loyal, faithful, honest, transparent. For the people that are cooked, they're going to be cooked regardless. Maybe that was why, Jesus threw the money changers out of the church. If people want to pursue whatever sin that they want to pursue and just continue to gorge themselves, let them. But the righteous can do what they want to do too, right? So I don't think we need to let it stop us by any stretch of the imagination. I think we need to chart our own path and go down that path that we know is right. So
let me ask you this, and Lost, if you have any questions, man, please get ready for your questions. I want to ask you this question too, also for the culture. When it comes to homosexuality in the culture, now I'm not going to get into their relationships. I'm talking about people who say, a man that says, I no longer want to have sex with a man, I want a family. Or a woman that says, I no longer have interest in women, but I have interest in men now and I want to be married. What do you say? Because the saying is, once gay, always gay. The gay never goes away. Right? And so, and it's always in you to be that. What do you say as an expert in this field? Do you believe if a man is in a homosexual relationship, is he always going to be considered bisexual if he goes with a woman, from your expertise?
I mean, for me, that would require diagnoses and it would require judgments. My approach would be to ask that person, are you living your truth? And if you're living your truth, that's all that matters to me. It's the same across gender, sexuality. I think we do need to go back to the Bible and listen to what is said there, which is, it's not our job to judge. It's not up to us to do that. And so what people pursue, what people want to do, they need to make their own choices. And so if someone says that, I want to, a relationship, I want to build a family, if that's what is their truth and what makes them feel like they're honoring themselves, I think they should do whatever they think that they need to do. So
Oh, I saw a couple who is married and his wife used to be a lesbian, and now she's no longer a lesbian. She's married and she has kids, but she still dresses like a guy. And then they ask her, do you still have moments where you have that want for a woman? And she admitted it. She said, yes, but I don't act on it. So that's why, that's the reason I asked the question, because then does that make her still, when she says that out of her mouth, does that make her still bisexual now? Because she's saying, I still have the urge to be with women, but I don't act on that urge.
That I think ultimately that's such a personal question that the only person on the planet could answer that question is that woman.
Yeah.
Right. I think at the end of the day, and for my work, whether I'm acting as a couples therapist, whether I'm acting as a friend, whether I'm on a stream like this, I believe everyone has their own relationship to themselves, to God, and they get to decide what living their truth looks like, right? And so in my view, if someone were to say I don't want same-sex partners anymore and I want to find someone and build a family and that's going to bring me joy and happiness, and they do that from a place of authenticity and being genuine, I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't see why that would be a problem at all. So
all right, so Lost in translation, have you got anything? And because when you ask your questions, we'll get into the title of the show tonight. And Anissa, if you want to come up, I sent you the link already.
Here's my thing. In this day and age, we said that a lot of people are cooked. I think people are gonna have to make a decision to say, hey, look, I'm just not gonna date anybody who I don't want to date. And I think that's just how it is. Sometimes it may take you, years to find somebody that's suitable for you, but that's what you have to decide on doing. You know what I mean? And your standard is your standard. I said a long time ago I wasn't going to date anybody with kids. I'm going to have my own family from scratch, and as a result, I have to wait on that. You know what I mean? But that's the decision I made because that's how I want to do it. And sometimes people make consequences and choices on how they want to do things, and they have to live by that. There's always consequences and choices, and I think if we take away the consequences, I don't think we're doing people a service. Even God had consequences. And I think when we take away the consequences, we set bad standards and bad habits for how we should go forward in our community. So whenever we let certain things slide, yes, that's their thing to do. But if they ruin the community and ruin the pool, then that just makes it more difficult for everybody else. But I tell anybody else to stay diligent and make sure that you get what you want and make sure you be what you want as well, so you can attract that. And then that way you don't have to worry about dealing with something that you really don't want to deal with. And I think that's a lot of the crux of what's going on today. People are complaining about people they're not going to date anyway, which is beyond me. I don't understand that. And why focus on a target that you don't plan on hitting? So my suggestion to everybody else is to make sure you become the best person that you could be, so that way you can attract the best person possible in that particular situation. And always do your work. Even though a lot of people may seem like they're always fine, there's always underlying things that's there that sometimes people in themselves don't even know that they're going through, like different attachment styles, that type of thing. Those things are not common knowledge to most people. So most people don't go to therapy unless you actually do the deep work and have somebody to talk about that, to walk you through those things, to find out exactly why is it, you handle situations with relationships the way that you handle them. I think if we start having those particular conversations, we can make some inroads on how we can better relate to ourselves and why we do the things that we do, why people lean towards certain sins and certain habits. And if we start addressing those issues like attachment styles, then I'm pretty sure we can get down to the root of what's really going on. And then that way people don't put themselves and their bodies and other people's bodies in danger by being overly promiscuous and not taking into consideration other people's bodies and well-being as well.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I think it's about accountability, basically, right? We all need to be accountable for what we accountable to ourselves, but also to our community. Exactly. Like, talking about what happened in Houston, someone's kid could have been watching it live, could have watched it on TV. Like, these are not the communities that we want to create. And so people need to really be held accountable for how they impact the world. Right. So.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we got $10 super chat for Anton. Thank you, brother. He said, this makes no sense. Some women will do anything to have the best of both sides of the same coin, wanting the safety and security of marriage while yearning for the independence of being single. And you got anything you want to say to that?
I wouldn't disagree with it. I think men want that too. So I don't think that's just unique to women, but I think just for the sake of that intro video, I think a lot of women can probably relate because they see it on Instagram and they see it on a View, this like glamorous life of being married, being single, but then also not living with someone, right? So,
Yeah, and R-Pain. Welcome to the show tonight, R-Pain. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Just hanging in there. Yeah.
R-Pain, did you get a chance to see the opening video?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, women.
Go ahead.
In the opening video, I'll play just a snippet, and you'll know the rest of it. I'll play Cheryl Lee Raff's part, and then the rest of the women. It was Cheryl Lee Raff, Cheryl Underwood, Keke Palmer, Nia Long. They were all saying this.
He has his own life. I have my own life. He has his own real career. I have my own real career. He has his light to stand in. I have my light to stand in. So he is not looking at me, thinking about status or this or that. He's doing his thing. I get to do my thing. We also live in separate places. When I go to see him, love to see him. When it's time to leave, bye-bye, see you soon. I'm telling you, life is good. Perfect. I get to be the real good wife.
I'm looking for a man who's willing to be in a monogamous relationship with me while he lives in his own separate house.
Okay, you get the gist of it. What are your thoughts, Arpane?
Hey, well, listen, man, if you want a woman like that, you can have it. I think men waste time trying to change women like that. If you decide to be with her, you take what goes with it. I think one of the things we need to do is give ourselves some relief. If a woman like that sounds crazy, then we should just ignore her and move on to the next one. That's what men need to start to do. Cheryl Lee Ralph is not the last woman or the first woman in the world. I think that was the first chick, right? None of these women are, unique, man. They're not. I mean, they're unique to themselves, but your life is going to go on whether she's in your life or not. So, I don't think a man should. I already said you shouldn't fall in. If it's not something that you could live with, then don't agonize over it. Find somebody else.
Agreed. I'm
But I
looking at
will
the
tell
chat.
you this, black man. I will tell you this. I understand why her husband has his own house. I mean, to me, she's not very loving or friendly or kind. Just by the expressions, like she was convincing the world of something that they should do as well too. Nobody wants to live that lifestyle. So who are you trying to convince, us or yourself? That type of thing. They stand boldly and proudly and say, I have my own and this and that and the other. I'm like, so. You know what I'm saying? What does that do for the rest of the world? What does that really do for you? Because I'm pretty sure when she gets older, there's going to come a time where she's going to need her husband there by her all the time. And that realization is going to kick in that she wasted a whole lot of time in her own kingdom, so to speak. You know what I mean? And I think the whole purpose of being married is to become one. And I think when you live that lifestyle, it's antithetical to what God really wants us to be. It's certain things that you miss, certain nuances that you miss when you're not with your partner all the time. And my thing is, what's the point of getting married? You just basically got a pen pal. You come visit them every now and then. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, because he's in Philadelphia. Yeah, he lives in Philadelphia. She's in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sham to begin with. First of all, I don't know if you was finished with that. Just like the second chick, right? Talking about I want a monogamous man in his own house, blah, blah, blah. So now she's going to dick police my house. She's in her own house and she's going to tell me, what the hell to do with mine. What the, I mean, come on. I don't see how men take these stupid ass deals, man. Shit. It's crazy. It's just absolute madness. And I think that, and like I'm gonna say it one more time, I think we as men spend too much time with ridiculous women, thinking about what the hell they want. It's stupid. It really is stupid. We can't make them become better women by acquiescing to all the bullshit that they do.
You know what, Arpane, you brought up something that was a good point. Why do men lower their standards for women like that, to be honest? Because when you give way to stuff like that, you make it seem like it's okay to do. And they have a backbone to say, hey, look, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And that'll cut off a lot of that stuff. If a lot of men will stand up and say, look, that's not acceptable. Next. You have to be brave, man, when you're out here dating. You have to tell folks, hey, I don't want to do that. And if enough men stood up and said, hey, I don't want to do that, then I'm pretty sure there are a lot of women who will straighten up. But the thing about it is most guys haven't done the work. So they allow this behavior to continue. And sometimes they think that they're taking advantage of it, but they're actually wasting their time and they're ruining her time as well, too. So I think it comes down to what's acceptable, and who allows it is the ones who proliferates the behavior.
So I want to
I would just add to that.
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead,
Mr. The only thing I would add to that is I think what the biggest issue that a lot of men struggle with is matters inside the home. Men aren't very comfortable calling the shots. Outside the home, we build bridges, we pave roads, we can lead, we can run a construction crew, we take charge. But when it comes to matters of the heart and matters of the home, it's like we take a backseat. We want to be told what to do. And I think this is why a lot of women complain that men don't lead. And, you know, a man needs to find his voice. But I think what's happened is that a lot of men are afraid to, because their version of the way things should be run at home is kind of really being villainized, you know, in social media. You know, you just have to open up Instagram and you could see that men are good in so many different ways. And so they shut down, they'd lose their voice. And lost in translation, I think they would do the work. But frankly, they're afraid to do the work because and certainly the clients that I see, I would say 8 out of 10 couples that I work with come to me with a fix him and we'll be all good problem, right? It's like, fix him and we'll go home and you'll be a miracle worker, right? And women struggle to see the food stuck in their own teeth.
Oh, so you're a therapist?
Yeah, I'm a couples therapist. So not only do they struggle to see it, but they actually struggle even harder to own it. Women talk about men being defensive. Women aren't necessarily leading with the same defensiveness that men do. Like, men will stomp their feet and yell and get big and they'll deflect. But women are defensive in a different way. And the way they're defensive is they don't take ownership, and they will try to convince you that they're more correct, or their version of events is more emotionally intelligent, right? And
we call it deflection and redirection.
Yeah, yeah. And it can take them months before they are able to see their own role in a relationship. Men are, you know, we're called to see it within days or weeks, but it'll take a lot of women months before they do that. And that's just my own personal clinical experience.
You know what I think the problem is? I think the problem that women are not skilled at being women like they used to be, because there was a point in time where women were skilled at knowing how to talk to their husband in such a way that it's not offensive, and to get him to see it her way. And it's a win-win situation for both of them. I think a lot of times women have forgotten the art of femininity, where they can actually use their feminine wiles to wield the power in the home gently, so to speak, you know, instead of redirecting and deflecting, because that's easy to say. Well, you know, if you say, hey, you did this, and then I say, well, no, well, remember when you did that? Well, we weren't talking about that right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's stick to the plan. No, we're going to talk about what you're talking about. So it's this back and forth thing, instead of saying, you know what, let me listen to see what you have to say. Mm-hmm. And then how can I be better at doing what I want to do, or doing what you need me to do? And I think that is the crux of a lot of relationships issues. If they can just say, hey, look, let me take the time out to listen to you. I hear you and I see you and I want to fix that. But they're not skilled in that. So that escalates, it escalates conflict between the couples. And I think once we get to the point where we get men and women to accept their role and how to be skillful in navigating their own anxiousness when it comes to relationships, because I think most guys in situations where they don't lead in a relationship, they're anxious and they're afraid that that person is going to leave. And most times the women is avoidant, so they don't want to have anything to do with that. So what happens is you have this push-pull dynamic that goes back and forth, and nothing never really gets solved until somebody says, hey, you hungry? Let's go eat. And then it's washed over. But that's not a way to actually maintain a conflict resolution solution going forward when it comes to having disagreements. So I think that a lot of times guys need to really take a step back and say, hey, look, what is causing me to not want to voice my opinion or say what it needs to say? And if so, is this woman the type of woman you need to be with, who's receptive to doing her role to allow you to do what you need to do, to be receptive, to be comfortable, to be, how should I say this, to be secure attachment in this particular situation, so they can actually have a meeting of the minds.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I want to get to the actual conversation of the night, man. Leslie Jones says marriage is slavery. Is she right? Now let's look at a few clips. Oh, but before we do, there is a young lady out here. She has a PhD. Now, normally, I said this the other day and I got a good big old laugh. No, and I don't mean any harm. But some of the most unattractive women have these comments to make. And I'm going to play this one before I get Leslie involved. Before I get Leslie involved, I'm going to play this lady where she does a history lesson. She's teaching a history lesson on why wives are slaves and how men own women. So I'm going to play her first. Here we go.
The term family and the whole institution of marriage is where a woman was enslaved to the man. From the beginning, when we're talking about marriage, this is where the woman went into slavery to the man. Let's be clear on this. When we're talking about a marriage certificate, this is where the woman became property to the male. This is why she takes on his last name. What is a husband? A husband is a manager of farm animals. Well, who is the farm animal? Well, his wife. She's a farm animal. And then when she gets pregnant and has children, well, he has a family. And when you look up the etymology of family, you understand that it is slaves and servants. He has now slaves and servants as his family. Now, I'm not telling you not to be in a family. If that's what you want to be, again, I'm just giving you what the facts are and how this institution of marriage came about.
I just want to get y'all thoughts on that before. It tickled me so bad.
Let me say, women are not animals. Okay, let's get that out the way.
She said farm animals.
I love that. That's ridiculous. Generally, when people say stuff like that, man, they have nothing to offer to a relationship, and therefore they have to cook up this story about marriage being slavery. You know what I mean? Those women decided to be married on their own free will. Nobody twisted their arm or anything like that. So when we have narratives like that, it's entertainment at best, you know, not to be taken seriously.
I would agree. It's just for clicks and views. It's just someone wants to find a niche and be popular in it, right? And the jaded woman niche is probably not all that difficult to get popular in.
Nope.
Right.
R-Pain?
No, I don't have anything to say. I mean, you know, listen, I don't even know what to say to this chick, man. I mean, she's got the whole narrative down. It's unfortunate that she's going to get a few people listen to her.
Yeah.
You know, that's the unfortunate part, but that's just the way it is.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and hop over to Leslie Jones. We'll start with this video first.
Sick of men telling me, oh, well, you know, you hardcore. Yes, I am.
Can you handle it?
Oh, well, yeah. What you bringing to the table? I am the table. I don't understand why you wouldn't want a woman like me. I am successful. I'm rich. I can fight.
Oh, you know, would you trust her? Would you trust her? You know, giving you the job, the blow. You know, would you trust her? One chomp, man, that shit could be off, man. You say the wrong thing, you know, sit down there saying, "Do you love me?" And you say the wrong thing, and all of a sudden you're finished. Yeah, when she said, "I am the table," man, that bite came down pretty hard.
You know what? And it sounded like she was demonic a little bit. Like, I am the table. Like, it was like.
I'm just trying to figure out what kind of light would I have to have on.
Uncle Rick, come on up here, man. The link is in the top of the chat. But
now, you know, Leslie Jones has her own problem because just before all of this shit, she was talking about how she was lamenting not having a guy. And now she's just demonic, I hate all men kind of slavery thing. So, you know, the women going through changes, man. It's tough on them out there.
Yeah, Mr. Chosen, let's just listen to it one more time.
Me, oh, well, you know, you hardcore. Yes, I am.
Can you handle it?
Oh, well, what you bringing to the table? I am the table. I don't understand why you wouldn't want a woman like me. I am successful. I'm rich. I can fight.
Okay, Mr. Chosen.
You know, two things that came to my mind was one, like she's giving us her resume, right? And the other thing that can you imagine a man acting in the way that she was just acting there? We would say he's raging on roids or something, or he has an anger issue, right? Or he has no self-control. But none of these terms will get used for a woman when they act that way. But men are held to this standard that we have to behave a certain way, and anytime any ounce of testosterone pushes us to act in a way that, you know, in that aggressive masculine way that men can act in, it's a problem, right? So it's not a problem for women to behave like that, but it's a problem for men to behave like that.
So Mr. Chosen, I want to do something real quick with you real quick. Go into your therapy mode, like your mindset of therapy, right? I just walked in with Leslie Jones. Okay. So you focused? You there? Let me know when you're there.
Yeah.
Okay. She walks in and I say, I'm having problems. I'm having some concerns with her behavior and her temper, and she's very temperamental. I just need your help. She says that she's all these things, and she's just, you know, and she says, and I want, when this is done, I want you to tell me what you would say to her as her therapist. And I'll be like, I look over at her and you say, so what are your thoughts? And she says,
sick of men telling me, oh, well, you know, you hardcore. Yes, I am.
Can you handle it?
Oh, well, what you bringing to the table? I am the table. I don't understand why you wouldn't want a woman like me. I am successful. I'm rich. I can fight.
Okay, now on 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, the first thing, the first thing is that you're really not going to pierce through that armor that person's got on in that moment, right? There's so much there that she can't hear a word that you're saying. So at best, the best intervention you can do is just try to bring her back down to earth and calm her down.
Ooh, how would you do that?
I'd probably ask for a pause. You know, not in the session, but I would probably ask her, you know, and him, you know, if you guys get to this place where, you know, volumes and voices get raised inside the home, and maybe there's kids there, they're watching and stuff like that. Do you guys need to hit pause and let those cortisol and adrenaline levels come down? Right, because really, you're going to be very limited in what you can do when someone's kind of worked up like that. So
I'm just trying to think, man. Does she have a passion face? Like, I mean, when you know, I mean, is there a passion face in there anywhere? I mean, you know how women have the face. You know, when I'm being vulgar a little bit, but you know, I mean, you can say, well, you know, if you could imagine, so this woman might have a nice face if we're doing it, right? There's no. Can she do a passion face?
Okay, so let me ask JT. I mean, you're single, right, JT?
Look at this JT over there. Yeah, JT, can you get the passion face out of it, JT?
JT, you single?
Technically, yes.
Okay, so JT, you walk up to a young lady in the mall, and get ready now because we put Mr. Chosen on the surprise block, so it's your turn. And you walk up to her and you're like, hey, how are you doing? You know, what, you know, let's go on a date. And you sit at the table and you like, so tell me, what do you bring to the table? And she says this.
Sick of men telling me, oh, well, you know, you hardcore. Yes, I am.
Can you handle it?
Oh, well, what you bringing to the table? I am the table. Understand why you wouldn't want a woman like me. I am successful. I'm rich. I can fight.
JT, what are you going to say to her on the date?
I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna blow up and.
JT said he gonna leave.
He gonna
leave.
Oh.
Well, yeah, you pretty much know. And let me just say this: how you guys doing tonight?
What's going on, man?
Good, man. My brothers. So one of the things that I would never agree with is I am the table, because we already understand. Well, I thought that people understood what the table actually was. It was for people to see basically what it is at the negotiation table of marriage that we will be able to apply to it. What do you bring to the table? People look at it literally and it's figuratively, right? You know, that's the thing. It's not something that we ask each other. Well, what is it that you bring to the table? Like we got a bunch of groceries and we just start reaching in our bag and, you know, well, I got this thing right here. And they be like, that's not good enough. And then you just keep pulling stuff out. That's not what it is. So let me just say this about the character of Leslie Jones. She's being hyperbolic because she's also a comedian. So just like I give any other comedian that license because they are comedians, I also would look at it as she brings in a segment of who she actually is. This is a woman that has never had a husband. As far as the relationships, hearing from, and this is from her, that she had a bunch of failed relationships. You know, so I think it's a lot of pain that's there also. So no, that's nothing good for us to lead with when we're trying to court, date, to marry. And I think a lot of us had it wrong. A lot of us still get it wrong because we have the wrong concept.
The only thing I would add to that too is I feel like no one has ever chosen her. Like it,
you would be correct.
If she's successful and a star and worth a ton of money and whatnot, there are women out there that are in men's fields all the time. You know, we have female politicians, we have astronauts, like, you know, women can be and do whatever they want to do in the world. But there's a man out there that is happy to say, hey, you take the spotlight. I'll be your backup singer. You know, I'll manage the home, take care of the kids. I'm happy to do that. Men can be in women's fields, right? I feel like no man has gone to her and said, I choose just you. And you can lead our family. You can bring home the bacon. You could, you know, do whatever you want. And I'm going to support you. And I'm going to back you up. And I'm going to be there for when you get home. I'm going to rub your feet. I just don't think someone's ever said that to her.
I think that's because she don't want those person. I think somebody did approach her. Yes.
Yeah.
And and a lot of people laughed at this other lady, Gabby Sidibe, right? She's not the most attractive woman. She's overweight, but she found someone to marry her and give her children, and they still appear to be happy, right? So the thing is that even when I see a lot of things that Miss Sidibe does, she has a certain quality and confidence about herself. She also uses femininity, right? She uses wit. And now she's showing the ability to be a mother. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that a woman like Leslie Jones did have that opportunity, but those men she did not want.
Well, not only that, JT, you have to look at it like this. She's bringing to the table what most guys already have. I mean, most guys want somebody who's feminine, beautiful, and inspirational. I don't think she's any of that. And I think that's the problem. She's trying to give men what they already got. And if that's the case, they might as well be by themselves and they can just date whoever and get whoever they want. But I think what she needs to do, like in this case with Gabrielle Sidibe, like you said, she was kind. You know what I mean? She was probably inspirational and beautiful. You see what I'm saying? That type of thing. And I think that's the difference between her and Leslie Jones, is Leslie doesn't possess any of what the guys are looking for. And I think that's the problem. And I don't think nobody's man enough to tell her to her face and say, hey, look, you might want to change up your secret recipe and say, hey, look, you need to serve something else because what you're serving up, nobody wants to buy. Nobody wants to consume that. So until somebody tells her and say, hey, look, you know, you need to make some changes, I think she's going to continue to be single.
So, Lit, you don't think somebody told her, listen, I mean, you know, I hear what you're saying because I agree, but I have a feeling somebody told her, I think she lacks the confidence to make the change because she's probably been told and felt all her life that she's less than because of the way she looks. And to tell you the truth, I mean, you know, all of us haven't, you know, can't win the beauty lottery. You know, how do you navigate, you know, a world where you're not the beautiful one? You're big, you're burly, you're this and you're that, and she leans into that, you know. And so when you start rattling off all of your accolades as a woman and the way she does it, you're telling the guy he might as well be a homosexual, right?
You know, I think in her case, she's leaning into this caricature of who she thinks people think she should be, instead of being who she really is. You know what I mean? She's coming off as this tough female, and I think she leans into that a little bit too much, because you'll have people who are actors and things like that on a regular basis, but behind closed doors, they're probably something that's totally different because that's their job. But I think in her case, if she's living into that role, I don't think most guys will want to deal with that. And I think that's a disservice to herself. Because let's be honest, man, if she was a little bit more feminine, I think guys would probably, you know, might give her a shot. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But in this particular situation, if she's leaning on the inside being something that guys don't want, I don't like her chances.
I got one for you, Lit. You know who she could be like? Who could have went down her path, but she's trying hard not to? Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields is in the fight game, but she tries very hard to be feminine, even though she's fooling around.
She's fighting through it. Yes, she's fighting through it.
Through it hard, you know. And she's she's hard. She's trying to soften those edges. I wouldn't like the way she's doing it with the blonde wigs and all that bullshit. But the point is, she could go down the Leslie Jones path because she's rough and tumble from Flint, but she's trying hard to feminize herself. You know, she might be getting a C grade, but she's trying.
And it's not a. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know what I'm saying? You have a culture of defiantness. You know what I mean? Well, I am the table, or you know, I'm the whole package, the whole bag of chips. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I'm better than you. When you're steeped in that particular culture, it's hard to reach people because you have a whole group or community reinforcing bad behavior. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard for her to get a hold of reality when her whole world is delusion. So I don't like her chances.
Well, and even the host of that show was cheering her on.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
As if she was like on the path to success, right?
She was scared.
To me, it was a path of loneliness, but and also when she gave her resume, you know, the Freudian slip she made was, I don't understand why someone wouldn't want a woman like me. Like, she doesn't even know why she's undesirable, right? And that's kind of sad, because what she did is then she proceeded to list off the things she's done or the things she's had or that she has, but she didn't name any of the qualities about who she is. She didn't talk about her identity. You know, if she'd gone on there and said, I'm a loyal woman, I want to love a man, I want to cherish him, I want to be honest, I want to be faithful, I want to be transparent, you know, these are the values and the covenants that I want to live by, she'd have men lining up around the corner for her, right? No one cares what you have or what you've done. They care about who you are. And she can't even see it, which is why she said, you know, I don't understand why someone would want to date me.
Yeah, it goes back to what we said earlier. When you have a whole community of people who are cheering you on in your folly, you can't help but not see your own error.
Again, that's why I would revert back to Miss Sidibe. From just looking at her journey, right? I mean, we don't even have to go into acting and all of that, because even her success and the money that she makes, things like that, it's not conducive to attract a man, right? unless you track. It's easier to track a man that actually wants you for the money, right? It's easy to be able to attract a man that actually want to benefit out of it monetarily or whatever it is, because she's not aesthetically pleasing. Now, the thing is that when she talked about dating, she said that she had to just stay away from men because she knew that they didn't like her, right? And she had to reevaluate herself and reevaluate the way that she moves when it comes down to dating men. And that was kind of like how she found her husband, because they were friends before they even considered dating each other. And they took their time doing what they did. And I kind of commend her because she has it's like her reputation is, every time somebody talk about someone that was fat and unattractive, they've always brought her name up, right? And so she took that energy and like she told her husband, I'm not attractive. I already know. They can't even hurt my feelings anymore. I went through those days of getting my feelings hurt and stuff like that. She said, but I am who I am. That's why you don't see her on Ozempic and all these things where she got the money to do it, but she's not cutting her body up for all of that. She's actually doing the real work, going to the gym and eating right and all these different things that she's doing. However, we would have someone like the video that you first showed, BMU, with the women that are 60 and 50-year-olds talking about now they want to be married, like the one lady. And I used to like her a lot until she came up with that, when my husband stays in his space and I stays in my space and it's the way I want it. And they're making it seem and they're promoting it as if this is the key. This is how you do it. It's like, no, let's talk honestly. And they're not being honest with women, and women don't want the honesty, or they would take it, but it takes a minute for them to get that honesty. But when you have women that keep validating those type of things, they just validate most women to say, well, I just stay who I am. Love me for who I am type of thing. And, that's what we got. That's the only thing we get a chance to see.
Now, I want to, before we get to the big video of the evening, I'm going to put two right in between there because I want to get Mr. Chosen and the rest of you guys comments on these videos as well, because these are doctors. These are people who are in the profession who are telling these women this delusional stuff. One is a doctor, and then one is just a normal woman, 9-to-5 lady. We'll play her first.
Tell me it's giving wifey material. I'm gonna go ahead and clock out because clearly
Ask a man to describe a wife and watch you describe a slave. Ask a man to describe a wife and watch you describe a slave. Comparing a wife to a slave is deeply problematic and historically rooted in oppressive systems that devalue women's autonomy and agency. A wife in a healthy and respectful partnership is an equal partner in a relationship based on mutual love, trust, and shared responsibilities. A slave, by definition, is someone who is owned, lacks freedom, and is forced to serve without consent or autonomy. Historically, certain cultures and legal systems have treated wives as if they were property of their husbands, limiting their rights and agency. However, modern relationships emphasize equality, consent, and partnership rather than control and subjugation. If you're asking about this comparison in historical, philosophical, or literary sense, I'd be happy to explore those. Again, I say, ask a man to describe a wife and watch you describe a slave. It's not his fault. It's society. And not only is it society's fault, it's a society that we built and created for these men to make them think that it was okay to treat women like that. His daddy, his granddaddy, his granddaddy's granddaddy, and so on and so forth, all believed that they were the head of the household. And that meant everything under that woman, the emotional labor, the physical labor, the daily tasks, was indicative of slavery.
That's one. We're gonna get through it, guys. We're gonna get through it. This is this is the second one. And this is a lady that's she's a doctor. So
the worst thing a woman can do, statistically speaking, is to get married to a man. Married women do not live as long as single women. They do not earn as much money as single women. They are not as happy as single women. They report themselves in every single way that you can measure sociological data for wellness as being less contented than single women. Married men, on the other hand, married to women, outperform single men by such a measure that it is perhaps the healthiest thing that a man can do is to get a woman to marry him. Married men live longer, they're healthier, they make more money, they advance more in their careers, they're more creative, they're less likely to commit suicide, they're less likely to die of homicide, they're less likely to die in car accidents in every single possible way. The best thing a man can do is to get married to a woman. Those imbalances are exactly equal, meaning the percentage of herself that a woman gives to a man, she loses and he gains. So she's literally giving her life to him.
Okay. We can cook now. Mr. Chosen, you could go, you go first. Just
go ahead, Mr. He the guest. He can go ahead. He the guest.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Chosen.
You know, the smile on their face when they talk like that, especially that doctor at the end, it creeps me out. It really creeps me out that there's like, again, men are the worst things God ever created. But don't ask me to get into my car, drive across a bridge, you know, put gas in that car, because men did all those things. We would have none of the conveniences and we wouldn't have homes and buildings if it weren't for men. And how many men died and gave their lives, you know, to construction injuries. I live in Panama. I think something like a couple 100,000 men died digging this canal. You know what I mean? So it's like that smirk on their face that, you know, men are these terrible creatures. That just creeps me out. I'd lose concentration. And the way she said women are happier or less happy when they're married. I mean, are you talking about women who never have babies? You know, because I know my wife was happy, but now the joy that she has because she's a mother, she couldn't have done that on her own. I'm sorry, right? So,
right.
It's kind of nonsense. But yeah, I just shake my head.
Oh,
yeah.
Anybody else can jump in? Go ahead, Lost.
Let me cook for a minute, man. People like to wield language and stories and stats to their own will, bend it to their own will. Let me explain to you exactly what's really going on those particular stats. Those guys who are married, who live longer, are married to wonderful women. That's the end of the story. That's the reason why they live longer, because their wives are wonderful women. And the women who are going through these particular situations, they're probably married to horrible men, if we're being honest. So if we actually look at it in its proper context, if you got a wonderful husband and a wonderful wife, those two live longer together because they lean into each other and they take care of each other. That is the narrative that's never told. And for us to get that middle ground where you got two good people working with each other, that story never gets told. And that's what we need to be focusing on. Say, hey, how can we get those who are not as good to the middle and those who are not as bad in the middle and work that out? And then that way you can live longer together. Because telling a story as if men who are just so happen to be married, they live longer, well, that's because they are underplaying the role of the wife in that situation as being a loving wife. I'll give you an example. Before I met the woman I'm dealing with now, my heart rate was always elevated all the time. And then as soon as she showed up, I looked at my Apple Watch for the last 6 months and it decreased. It went from like 80 something all the way down to like 53. That's not by accident. You see what I'm saying? Because she's loving and she's kind. You see what I'm saying? And that regulates, you know, something in me. And that's something that a lot of times people don't take in consideration, is that the person that you're dealing with, if they're nice and they're kind to you, they're going to automatically trigger something in you that makes you healthy, that makes you want to live longer. And that's the narrative that we need to get back to and start actually honestly taking a look at that and say, hey, look, what are the real effects of marriage? And if we take a look at a statistical data like that, then we will repaint the narrative that marriage is slavery, and the women are bad off, if they're not married to a good man. So I think that's an example we really need to talk about.
JT, what you thinking?
Yeah, I think that when you have women that are talking in that sense, I get creeped out too, right? Well, I used to. Let me tell you, I used to. But I've heard it so much now, being on these platforms and having these types of conversations, and so it doesn't trigger me like it used to. The problem that I see is that when I walk amongst the earth and I talk to people amongst the earth, not on platforms and things like that, I'm hearing these same, what we would call in the social media world, talking points, right? I'm just a strong believer that we curse one another. I'm a strong believer that when women ask for certain things, I think they pray for them. And I think they pray for other people to have them too. And it eventually turns into reality for a whole group of people that comes after them. So when we're talking about women saying that this whole thing that being a wife is slavery, being married, and they put it as slavery, the only thing is that first and foremost, I don't even think it's dignified enough for me to even have a conversation with those folks, right? Because it's an idiotic conversation, for one. And the only reason why they're saying this is because someone else felt that way and they borrowed their talking points because the world or the things are not working in their favor right now. For whatever reason, relationships are not working in their favor. Marriages probably was not working in their favor. And so they would take that and embrace everything that they're hearing out here in the atmosphere, and they would make it their own. That's that whole thing of truth, right? Truth. It used to be the truth. Now everybody has ownership on the truth now. Now it's my truth. So, and I think we just curse the atmosphere when we say these things, because later on in life, things start to happen. Because for what we're seeing now, men are actually walking away from women, but they're not telling women. And this was the craziest part. I remember, I'm 53 years old. So I remember, and I was caught up in that whole thing. He never tells me what's going on. He doesn't talk to me. These things, they say that they don't know. This guy broke up with me and I don't even know why. We were good yesterday. Then he didn't text me. He didn't call me. He didn't do anything. Why? It's because we do things silently. It's not that I'm scared of you or anything like that. It's for the simple fact that I don't think that I owe you that because of what you've done, said, and how you treated me. This is how men were doing this, all across the United States. And they were, well, he just left me. No. He left you for a reason. You just didn't want to know what the reason was. Now that we have platforms and we have people talking, now they're like, oh, maybe that is what it was. They just ain't gonna tell everybody else. So what they would do is look for somebody, especially if they got a DR in front of their name. Listen to what they say and say, well, that must be solidified because the doctor is saying it. So when you have a doctor, someone PhD or MD or whatever the hell they have, and they're saying something like marriage is like slavery and women, they're better off being by themselves. The worst thing a woman can do is marry a man. You would have women looking at that and they see that DR right in front of her and then what they do, go to something like TikTok, IG, and then they will again echo what they just heard. I ended there.
All right, I have one more thing to play, Mr. Chosen. I'm gonna let you cook as much as you want. Here we go. This is the last one. I hope y'all ready for this because Leslie is really gonna clown on this one. Where is it at? Here we go.
Powerful man.
I do.
So a dominant to your submissive.
I'm not submissive.
Could you be a trad wife is what I'm asking.
Trad wife meaning like I'd be at home and no.
Like making Oreos from scratch.
I don't absolutely not.
Why not?
Because that's not who the I am, and my daddy didn't raise me like that.
To be a trad wife.
To be anybody's wife. My dad used to literally say that to me. I didn't raise you to be somebody's wife.
That's so brave.
I don't know if it's brave or smart. Most of the people that I know that's gotten married are divorced now.
And so, really, that's an indictment of the institution.
Yeah. I think marriage is legalized slavery.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Say more, because if I'm thinking about slavery and I'm thinking about marriage, there are two different images that come into my
Absolutely
head.
not. I don't know how you don't. A man is, especially if he's expecting you to be a trad wife, he might as well pull out a whip and a chain.
Wow. So there are young people watching who might be wanting to get married. What would you say to them?
Don't.
Don't get married.
No.
Okay.
Oh God, you are crazy.
How am I crazy?
You are crazy.
You're saying that marriage is
No, I don't believe in the marriage. No, I don't.
So you wouldn't get married?
No, and I don't think it's beneficial for a woman at all.
Like a powerful man.
Okay, Mr. Chosen, what was yours?
People tell you the opposite of what they really want. So I read into that she wants to be married, but she just has never been asked, right? And back to what was said earlier, it's kind of like voodoo dolls. What JT was saying is it's kind of like I'm putting out there that don't get married, and that energy that they want to breathe out into the world, into the universe, and hopefully infect other young women to not get married. Who in their right mind would be telling young women not to get married, don't have kids? Because like the host on that show, she's thinking to herself, she's probably like engaged and is just waiting to get married or something. She's like, I want to get married. She did not look like a woman who did not want to get married. And here's Leslie Jones telling people not to get married. So yeah, I think just deep down, you could almost kind of like cancel someone, kind of what our pain was talking about. When this nonsense kind of enters the room in the conversation, just let it go in one ear and out the other. It's just not even worth paying attention to. But yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, man. You finished? I listen. I agree with you. I think Leslie is looking at it's kind of a remorse. I believe most women, if we had to take a poll, look at it as an honor for a man to ask them to be his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many, especially in the Black community, never get asked. So, and then the ones who do, too many of them squander the honor. And so for her to come out and say what she said, I think once the host who's making the comments, she's not challenging Leslie the way she should, but just her reaction for Leslie to say it's slavery, because I know that woman that she's talking to is probably a woman that would be chosen. Right? She has the aesthetics, she looks feminine, and she kind of was surprised that you're going to tell people not to get married, because I'm not so sure she's not married herself already, And so I just think it's just the additional part of the degradation of the subculture of the Black community, because it's just pervasive. The women who get online who say the most dastardly and destructive things about men, especially Black men. It's crazy. Now, on the white side, you guys should have your own white liberal women who hate the hell out of you white men, big time. So I don't envy y'all. They can't stand you. Stand you guys. So I understand a little bit of your pain. But it's just a travesty. Social media has been a bane on relationships. It's as simple as that. And I don't know how we get it back.
There's an old saying that says, if you walk with the lame, you'll learn how to limp. And I think what she's doing, she's trying to convince everybody else to be single so she doesn't stand out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can I just say one thing about Leslie Jones, though? She's not an unattractive woman. Like she's confident. She's successful. She's got a lot going for her that I think many men would be interested in.
You should be ashamed of yourself, not.
Because I think this is a hard exterior that she presents, right? And I think inside of everyone there's someone wanting to come out. There's a good person in there, right? She needs to open up, and I'm sure there's plenty of men that would be interested in dating her, in marrying her. 100%.
I think Coach Ferg will be one of them. Coach Ferg, welcome to the show. Coach Ferg, Mr. Chosen said that she's an attractive woman. She's confident. Coach Ferg, is that someone that you would pursue?
Now, being you, I was coming in being nice. How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing, man? But instead of you done threw a whole hand grenade at me, man. I know he's just playing. I know he's not taking it serious. You know, I think she's gotten better looking as she gotten older, but it's already been done for her, right? Because her father gave her the validation of what she speaks from, right? And she also has the ability to speak to the message of what propaganda does, right? Because she's also telling young women now. She's 58, the same as me, old and ugly as hell. You talking about we're talking about two generations of young, beautiful women are going to take this and run with it and say, I don't want to get married, while brothers, on the other hand, are doing. It's like we shaming our brothers for not being at a certain level. So brothers are actually taking the step back and validating themselves and building themselves to be in those positions. But if she's telling the two generations of women, marriage is slavery, don't do it. One, her father wanted a boy, and he realized she wasn't pretty enough to get a man. So, but now here she is speaking to the whole, keep them separate. You go, we'll give you the voice to say it. We know you don't want to get married. And so it's just a bad mix of beings, for if you ask me. And she's not the one that can validate marriage is slavery. She ain't never been married. And she ain't really attractive. I don't care what color she is. She's a little funny looking. And most men, even the white man, brother, you know y'all not picking no Leslie Jones. Stop it. You ain't talking with no 6 foot, size 12 shoe wearing sister with no booty and look like you without a mustache. Come on, man, stop it.
Yeah, you think her feet are crusty?
Man, she wear a size 12. It don't matter. She'll kick most niggas in the butt anyway with a size 12 foot. Man, come on, man. A size 12 shoe? Come on, man. Stop.
Mr. Chosen disagrees. I think Mr. Chosen, do you disagree with that?
I just got to go to when you get to know someone, they become more or less attractive to you, right? And if she went out on a date with a guy and they went to dinner, talked, she softened, not even softened, she just was letting, she grew. Her own father told her, I raised you not to be chosen by a man, right? So she doesn't think that she's choosable. But if she believed that she was choosable, then she would open up and she would soften. And maybe she's not your type. Maybe she's not Arpane's type. Maybe she's not Coach Ferg's type. Maybe she's not my type. But she's someone's type. And when they go out for dinner and they chat and they have a good time and they laugh, she'll be that person's type even more, right? There's beauty in everyone. We have to see that. We have to see that there's beauty in everyone.
But they can stand in the way of their beauty. That was the whole thing of Mr. Cinnabay, right?
Yeah.
They stand in the way of the beauty, the thing that they're supposed to illuminate. They don't illuminate that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think that she would find there's been guys that have had sex with her. I mean, but for what reason, right? It's like, man, that's
yeah, but what if she goes on a date and she thinks she's gonna go back to her place to have sex, and the guy says, you know what, I want to get to know you a little bit better. I don't want to have sex with you.
Yeah,
Right?
she's not gonna meet that guy.
Right?
She's not gonna.
Just like we were
gonna meet
talking
that
about
guy.
earlier when we started, when we were saying, yeah, I want to mature. I don't want a high body count anymore. I don't want to be promiscuous. I want to settle down. A man can say that too. So he could be out with her saying, yeah, I want to know you proper. I want to be in a relationship before I want to be intimate again. Let's see where this goes. Would she stare that gift horse in the mouth and say no?
Yes, I think
Because
not
what
only
her
would
father
she say
taught her,
no,
or would she open herself up and do what Lost in Translation is telling us all to do, which is to do the inner work?
no, she would
Will
definitely
she do the inner work and allow herself to be vulnerable and be chosen and proposed to?
So the thing is that let's just go with one of the things that she probably have learned. Let's keep in mind, she's 58. She's almost 60 years old. So, and she's been in the comedic field for a very long time, and she's been successful at it for a very long time. So she's been out there. So we already know. One thing that I do know about her is that when it comes down to sex, her whole thing of being aggressive with men, right? Most men will be like, nah, I'm not going to do all of that, right? So when you were saying that she meet up with the guy that's saying, let's get to know each other, I believe, let's just say, let's put it in an era, the 90s. I believe that she probably would laugh that man away from her. She would call that man a punk, or she would call that man gay. She would say something like that. So she's always stood in her way. I agree with you. There's a quality that she has that actually could draw men to her. But I think that she stands in the way of it with being aggressive, with also being a woman that talks with a foul tongue also, right? Now, as far as having a bad attitude and all those things, I've never heard anything about that. I've heard that she's cool and everybody gets along with her. She's a cool person and stuff like that. But when it comes down to her being romantic with somebody, I just think that she lacked in that alone, and that was coupled with her aesthetics.
Now, I will tell you this, JT. I'm going to tell you a story. My granddaddy told me a long time ago. He said, a man doesn't marry a woman because of how she looks. It's how he feels in her presence. And if she can't make him feel a certain way in her presence, then she's working against herself. I think she needs to learn a different skill set. And I think if she learns a different skill set, she'll at least have a fighting chance. You can't be ugly on the inside and the outside. You have to pick a struggle. You know what I'm saying? So in this particular situation, she's going to have to do the inner work because the outer work has already spoken for itself.
Exactly. You know, I mean, listen, you know what? I mean, I've been hard on her. I understand where she's coming from. You know, you get to like I tell, you know, I have two daughters I'd like to see get married. And I think the only thing I was able to do is instill on them that the way you think as a 20-year-old or early 30-year-old is not the way you're going to be thinking when you're in your 40s and 50s. You're not going to think the same, especially when your biological door closes. And, you know, like I talk to Precious every so often, real Precious, you know, and there's a difference between a 40-something-year-old woman who has children and who might be single and a 40-year-old woman or 45-year-old woman who got there without having any children and no husband. They're not in the same space because one has satisfied her biological urge, whether she wants to admit it or not, and the other one hasn't. And that door is closing. Your mindset is not the same.
You know what I'm going to address something that somebody said in the chat. They was asking us, what does it define as beauty? Well, I'll put it to you like this. Beauty is one of those things that's subject to who's considering it.
Yeah.
My whole thing is this: how you treat somebody is totally up to you. You know, you don't have any control over how you look, but how you treat other people, you have 100% control of that. And I think people don't understand that there are also beautiful women out here who have terrible attitudes, and guys don't want to have anything to do with them as well. So you don't get a pass because you're beautiful or you're ugly. It's all about how you treat people. And I think a lot of times people overlook that, and they want to just give people this extra points for being beautiful. And I think at the end of the day, Even guys get tired of beautiful women from time to time if they have bad attitudes. So I think we need to get away from that, and stop using that as a crutch. A lot of times men will use their money as a crutch to mistreat women anyway. So that shouldn't be a pass, just like a guy's money shouldn't be a pass for him to be a creep. Just like a woman's beauty shouldn't be a pass for her to be a creep. If we're just going to be honest about it, it's about how you treat other people. That's in my honest opinion. That's the golden rule anyway. First of all, treat those how you want to be treated. That type of thing. So that's how I look at it. But you have 100% control of how you treat other people. You can't control what you look like.
Yeah.
She's just in a bad space, man. Period. And it's all piling on top of her because, she could see it. With all her money and all her success, it's not stopping her from being in. I think it's a farce. She's got friends around her, but she still seems lonely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that men and women illuminate one another, right? Let me explain. Women make us look better. It makes us look better to other women. It makes us look better to even our peers, right? And when we have women and children, we have a different type of respect also. This is coming from a person that was in the military. And one thing about it is that when you have a family, the people in the military look at you a different way. It's kind of like in the world. They look at you a different way that you're taking care of a family. So it's a lot of things that we have, and Coach Ferg probably will understand exactly what I'm saying. When you have a man that has to take care of his family, it is very easy for the command to say, hey, you need to go home. You need to take care of your family. This is too much for you. It's not like that when you're not. When you just single, you expendable all the way. We need you here no matter what. It's alert. You got to go. It's kind of like that. With women, when a man is there and they have a man, it's a respect that they get, the covering of that woman, right? Men would talk to her a different way, and women would even talk to her a different way because they respect the fact that she has covering. Mm-hmm. However, again, the things that used to be it's a word for it. I never could find it. But what used to be true is starting not to be true anymore because of the mindset of the masses. Mm-hmm. They don't want to respect family. So by proxy, they won't respect marriage, or it probably be flipped upside down, right? And the number one thing that I think and the number one group of people that I think that has the ultimate disrespect from the world is children. Children. If a woman has children and she's not covered, those children are also not covered either. But they don't look at it that way. So now they be like, well, they kind of make it seem like being single and being uncovered, and they never say uncovered. They just say being single and being a single mom is, this is what we are doing now. And they will try to make it seem as if this is the way to go. That didn't just start in 2026 or 2020. That started a long time ago. It took a long time to get people to the mindset that they have. And when you have new people every day coming on this earth, all it takes is for the world to start putting their spew on them. They go from kids all the way up. And guess what? They have an even worse concept of marriage, or even worse concept of relationship, or even worse that's why we can tell you that, no, it's going to take for one, people to suffer. There's nothing we can do with this thing right now to try to mend it. It has to be able to, it has to present a real big enough problem where you're going to see a different generation that's going to say, I don't want to be like that anymore. I don't want to be like that next generation. And so but this is the craziest part. They're going to have to go to history. And the biggest doctrine of going and finding history is what? The Bible. They always revert back to that because everything else don't seem as if it's straightforward. But that's where I'm saying that now what we have right now, it's like we're in trouble, but it doesn't last where it's just going to end the world. All it's going to do is have it where it's going to be a reset. And then people are going to go back to, trying to make, relationships better and marriage more culpable and all these different things. But we gotta see it. We gotta see it explode first. We gotta see people suffer. I'm sorry, that's the hard truth. We're gonna have to see a lot of people is suffering, and it's gonna take people that don't want to suffer or that don't want to suffer anymore to be able to right that wrong.
Come on, Coach Ferg. I hear you winding up.
I beg to differ, right? Because I look at sports and entertainment as two peas in a pod, right? Even if you look at sports guys, the guys that seem to get the advancement or the highlight, they're the guys that tend to marry and become responsible for others other than themselves. Even in entertainment, people who tend to marry tend to have the better opportunity in a sense. There is a group of free agents who just going to be free agents, right? But in her case, she's gone 35 years of not really having anything solidified because she's been taught and been moving based off what her father taught her from time she was a little girl. Don't get married, be single. Run around in the streets, because guys, she's going to be in the proximity of guys. She's going to offer that box to some guys like most women do when they get horny. There's somebody that'll come through and put them size 12s over their shoulder and knock her down. But he's going to move around. And she understands that now. She's in a position of senior leadership. She's a first sergeant, JT. She's a first sergeant. But what I'm saying is,
she has an army of one.
But what I'm saying is her command, the message that she's sending to her troops, the younger women, the women who are on the fence about being married, the women that say, is there a good man out there? Don't marry that nigga because he's a slave runner.
Coach Hurt, I want you to hold that thought because while y'all were talking, I got quiet over here because I was researching something, and I had to go in my research bag, and I want this for Mr. Chosen too. I want you guys to see this interview video, because you just got to see it for yourself. I can't even give you no. Watch this.
The piece on therapy, I feel like I want to talk to men too, and like I'm going to give y'all so much permission to fucking learn and advance to where we are as women. Like, we doing the work. Men are not doing the work, and I'm going to say it. Y'all not doing the work. And let me just say this too.
We're not doing the work.
Y'all don't know shit about pussy. It's one of your favorite things. It's one of your favorite things. You don't know shit. I don't understand how you don't know shit about pussy. Or if your dick is working properly.
What should we know though?
First of all, go to the doctor, put your nuts in a doctor's hand and cough to the fucking left. Find out what's wrong with your dick first. There's a lot of, no, I'm being very honest. I've been hooking up and dudes' dicks are not working properly. Y'all done ate all that fucking McDonald's and all that shit. You ain't drinking water. You're not fucking taking care of yourself. And that's your dick. That's like one of your prized possessions.
I mean, that's true, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't know how many niggas could actually lay up with that and actually get hired.
You won't get your dick checked? Damn. And then get mad at us when your dick don't work. Don't get mad at me. That's your department. Damn. That's your department. That's real. Go get your dick checked. And then go get your mind checked. Stop showing up to Tinder dates expecting me to solve your fucking dilemma. I show up for dick and you throw me a Rubik's Cube of your fucked up ass shit. Like, I don't know why your daddy don't love you. You know what I'm saying?
Man, what kind of niggas you getting? That shit crazy.
Your dick. It affects your dick.
Nah, that is true.
Y'all don't know how to fuck a woman correctly. And then when she tell you that, now she ain't shit.
Nah.
No, go learn how to fuck. I bet you it'll solve a lot of problems between us. Because y'all don't know how to fuck. And you mad because we do.
This is the best man.
I'm being honest with y'all.
Impacts your dick.
I am being so honest. I really believe that a lot of friction is now women are going, we are tired of bad sex and we're tired of being quiet about bad sex. I had some bad sex 2 nights ago. I told him at the Ritz. I told that motherfucker to get the fuck out. How dare you fuck me like that at the Ritz? The goddamn Empire State Building is right there. How you fuck me like that in front of the Empire State Building? The fuck out of here.
Poor guy.
Damn.
Well, at least ain't no surprise to him. He's not hearing this for the first time.
Yeah, trust me.
I mean,
Can I go first?
I'm gonna take that as jokes.
That's what I was saying, that she, again, listen, this is the thing, BMU. Comedians always working on their jokes, bro. They're always working on their jokes, especially when they're on the platform. You got to remember, at that time that she was doing that, she was promoting her special, her stand-up. That was her first one she did. She just did a second one. So she's working on, that's why I said we do have to keep it. Now, understand, you ain't got to hang your head, BMU, because I told you before, it was an element. It's an element of,
oh, wait, you hardcore. Yes!
She working on her shit there too?
No. I'm saying it's an element of truth that she's bringing with it. But yes, I'm telling you, look at her Netflix. Is it Netflix that she was on? Or I think it was on Netflix. Look at her stand up on Netflix. She's saying the same thing on stage, right? It's the same thing. However, I believe that there's an element of truth, a lot of it too. The thing is this, like Coach was saying, that she is the first sergeant, and no, she does not have that. She doesn't have that army. Let me tell you why. Again, let's go back to the thing. The aesthetics. And she's old. That's the drunk auntie sitting at the spades table talking shit while she getting her ass handed to her. Her and her partner getting their ass handed to them in spades or bid whist. She's not serious about it, right? But she has to have an audience. Her audience, her main core audience, is not young women between the ages of 18 and 28. That is not her audience. Her audience, actually, to tell you the truth, is a whole bunch of women that are middle-aged and gay men. That's what her audience is. So when she's talking, she's not as effective as a Kendra G. She's not as effective as, what's the Dr. Bryant? She's not as effective as all these younger women that are a little bit more aesthetically pleasing with a microphone. She don't have that type of a following.
And now JT, they getting cooked now.
Yeah, and so
Cam Newton just cooked Kendra G like she was buffalo meat.
But it goes to what I said about people.
It's about time he won one of those things.
We're cursing, like they're cursing themselves, literally. It's kind of like you don't see what's happening to you. They don't see it yet, right? And the thing is that I don't think people understand that they get old. I don't think that they really understand. You know what we do? We men, we do. Let me tell you how we know it. R&B singers. When you go and you see Drew Hill, it ain't the old Drew Hill no more. They ain't moving the way that they were moving no more, is they? When you see the Temptations, you ain't seeing the Temptations moving like they used to. No. They're stiff on it. And men understand it. Who was the number one? Genuine. Remember that? Genuine came out there and he was trying to do that same dance. It didn't look the same no more, Genuine, right? We look at ourselves in the mirror. Men, we look at ourselves in the mirror. And we sit back and say, I can't do that same old dance no more. We be like, yeah, I think I need to go and be and embrace where I'm at now in life. And it's not just dancing. I'm just making that as a metaphor. But when we're talking, right? When we're actually having the ideologies that we have, man, that we have to change that up. It sounds crazy for me to be talking the same way I used to talk when I was 20 years old. Oh man. And I'm 53. People would laugh me off this doggone platform, homie.
And so and I will say this too. You're right. I do agree with the age thing. I think a lot of women don't know when they're getting old because, like, say for instance, take Vivica A. Fox, right? Vivica A. Fox in the 90s was a heartthrob. Oh my God, right? But now You know, she looks like a pregnant telegram pole, and now she wants everybody to be with her. She wants to have a husband. She wants a man now. She said, I don't care if he work at Home Depot. I'll take him because you're 60.
And that's when people, despite what people come out and say on social media or whenever they get a voice, they know they getting old. We had to look in our mirror. A lot of them put that makeup on. They know they getting old. A lot of them looked at their history and be like, damn, I ain't had a man since 1979, 1989. I ain't had a man since Set It Off. They know they getting old. The problem is with women, they compete with the younger women. Young women, don't marry. In the prime of your life, don't do it.
Yeah.
And the brothers are like, hell, why are you listening to these women who ain't got married and don't even want to get married?
Come on.
And that's the catch-22, I think, over the next 4 years, 5 years, where people don't, and this is for brothers, y'all don't give yourself enough credit, right, to sort of just step back. And because cream always rises to the top.
Oh.
You know, so the women are going to have to make a decision soon on which path they're going to take. Because if a lot of young women are coming out, going to OnlyFans first as their career choice, they kids go see that shit. The last thing you want is to run your kid do social media with some of his little deviant friends or her little hot friends and say, ain't this your mama? Now you got to face that scrutiny. So I don't know, man. For her message, to me, I always look for the bigger audience. She's a bigger voice than us. She can reach more people than us. And to say marriage is slavery, you can say that at 58. Hell yeah, marriage is slavery. I wish I was out there peeing on people like I used. I mean, you know, I was being nice, but like I used to.
Whoa, Coach Furry, wait. We ain't gonna
I wasn't doing it for real,
man. You ain't gonna just go back there like you didn't say that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man, because that's what everybody doing. They out here in the street. Listen, they out here in the streets just pissing everywhere and telling everybody that they pissed on.
Seems like you're ready.
Yeah. Seems like you're ready. It's different, man. Stay away from the R. Kelly and P. I'm glad I grew up before. I was glad I was an adult before they gave us R. Kelly and P. Diddy, because there's been a whole bunch of don't get married, but have sex, not committed sex. Don't fix nothing. Don't build nothing. Just take. That shit plays out real quick.
You know what? I really don't think that. I think we've given a lot of credence to what Leslie is talking about, but it's just going to pass. I mean, it's going through the social media. Everybody's going to get their couple of clicks and views off of it, and because people ain't getting married, not because she said so. I think the dynamic to change that is still in the wings somewhere. Economics is starting to change some of that, but those marriages are based on convenience and not really anything more. So they're not going to last, right? Because people are going to need each other. So they're really just partnering up so they could pay bills. So I just don't know where we are. It doesn't help to hear Leslie Jones. The fact is that the way and I know this is not fair, but if she was the prettiest woman in the world saying that hits different than somebody who's kind of a booger bear, okay? It hits different, so, but she's single. I think I would like to know what her host was. I wonder if she's engaged or married. She wasn't, seasoned enough to ask the right questions after Leslie said what she said. So that was, that bothered me, right? They put these ladies in front of these puff pieces and nobody challenges them on what they're saying, or it's just a plain old echo chamber. But I know that the woman she was with doesn't believe what she was saying.
All right, Payne, they're not going to challenge her because she already says you know how to fight. So they're going to
I can see Leslie going over there and beat her little ass. I mean,
Look, I put it to you like this, fellas. I don't give Leslie a pass. And I'm going to tell you why. She was a grown adult. She keeps harping on what her daddy told her what she used to do. I'm like, you gonna listen to your daddy for your whole life? Did you ask your daddy? Did you ask your daddy? Well, did he marry your mama? Did he turn her into a wife? Sometimes when your parents contradict themselves, you got to start asking questions. You got to start using your brain. You see what I'm saying? And for her to use that as an excuse at what 58 some odd years old, I don't buy that, man. Sometimes accountability needs to show up at some point in time.
Yes,
and
sir.
if you take that all the way to your grave, then you get what you deserve because you didn't challenge.
Well, she's more than halfway there.
And I'm gonna play this. Right. She got one foot in there. I'm gonna play this this last video before we can discuss this, then we can get out of here. But this is advice from a mother to a daughter. And I definitely want to get our guest his notion right after this here. Watch this.
3 different times. I don't often say that, but I've been married 3 different times.
Why do you feel like you don't often share that?
Because it seems like, am I the problem? No, I'm just joking. But I would definitely tell anyone, especially my daughter, please have sex before you get married. And please live with them before you get married. Listen. I've been.
All right, Mr. Chosen. Your thoughts on that great advice that was given to the young lady, her daughter. You're muted. You're muted.
You gotta get up, man. Say something. No, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
What about now?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Same thing. My sound settings reset. The fact that she's been married 3 times, I probably wouldn't take very much advice seriously from her. That's to start. Listen, when the worst advice you could give a woman is to live with a man before marriage, because men are truly dogs, and we can be dogs, and there's no incentive to marry a woman if she's going to live with you without having to marry her first, right? There's no incentive for a lot of men, and I think a lot of men will take advantage of that, and it's terrible, because I think a lot of men should mature on that front and understand I'm not gonna date a 26-year-old woman for 5 years without having a plan as to what I'm gonna do in those 5 years. A 26-year-old woman is in her peak, opportunity, what she has to offer the world in terms of becoming a mother, being a loving wife. For a man to want to go and rob a woman of that, of those prime years, he's got to grow up and mature. And, I think there's a lot to be said about men taking advantage of women in that regard. But that type of advice, tell a woman to give herself to a man without, any certainty of marriage, I just think is plain bad advice. So,
women of that age have been giving bad advice to younger women for decades. It's not just, and listen, and I agree. The only thing I would say about men, they will waste women's time, but there's a difference between willfully doing it and just doing it because she's there for convenience and giving you all the, giving you all the bennies of a wife without you having to go through the final straw to actually marry her. Sometimes it's just the time just passes. But some men are nefarious about it. But I think most men just, if she's here and we're together, they ain't thinking about the woman's clock. They're not.
Yeah.
So maybe they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but most of them aren't. Everybody's thinking about themselves, and we got more time than women inherently, right, because of biology. So yeah, but you have to inform women. Not necessarily the men to release them, but women need to know that they shouldn't be hanging out with a guy, especially if they're 27, 28, and they're going to give them 3, 4, 5 years because they passed that 30 threshold and the shit don't work. Now you're starting again and you're giving away some real prime years. They got to know that. They need to know that for themselves. The problem is that in the Black community, 65% of them are going to drop a baby with that asshole. Right? And now, if they don't get married, they're going to be with a baby in their 30s and their sexual marketplace value is going to be lessened. And even the women are starting to understand that, yeah, you're going to get a man who wants to have sex with you. but the cream of the crop guys want their own legacies.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So women have to be on point for that. They can't keep putting that shit off on men, even though men have a responsibility, but you got to have your own agency of your own body and your own choices. And I think we relieve women of that agency too often by putting it on men. Because we're the leaders and shit. Yeah, get the fuck out of here, man. You got the box. You need to guard that shit like you're a champion.
Well, and that's the difference between the advice, Arpain, that you're giving and what that own woman's mother was giving. Like, you're telling that daughter to value yourself, you know, to not commit, not give the best years of your life away. And that woman's own mother is telling her to give the best years of her life to some man who may or may not, if his head's not screwed on right, make an honest woman out of her or marry her and have kids with her. Like, yeah. So it's just strange that here we're a group of 6 men talking, like, we're a group of 6 men talking about loving women, treating them right, you know, doing right by them, you know, committing to them, and their own mothers are telling them to throw away the best years of your life, right?
Hey, before you guys go on, I got one question. I know we're getting out of here for you. What's up? I said, Mr.
Chosen.
Chosen. You know, when you get to these couple sessions, right? Do you tell a guy, you know, that the way you start your relationship with this woman is something that you're going to have to live through? You know, if you start out like a pussy, you know, most likely you're going to remain a pussy through the whole goddamn relationship.
You got to follow up with the shot.
I know you ain't going to put it that way, but I'm asking.
Clip that.
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, we have our hands tied behind our backs, because if someone's coming in saying this is who I want to be, I can ask him leading questions like, how do you think this is helping your relationship by not taking the lead, or, you know, stepping up, or, you know, going back to that proposal thing. Like, a lot of men are clueless and aren't watching the clock of a woman. For me to, well, even that particular example, like, let's say I have a couple that have been living together for 5 years. Even for me to drop in the therapy session, hey, why haven't you proposed to her? That could start a fight between them. That could make the light bulbs go off in her mind. Like, what? Even this therapist guy is telling you that you should marry me and you're not. Like, so I got to be really careful about that. So that's why I love coming on streams like this, because I get to share with the world what my own personal thoughts and views are about marriage, faith, you know, and what all that means. But inside the therapy room, it's actually kind of an echo chamber of this nonsense that is kind of spewed out there. Remember, we were talking about how, like, if a man were to come out and say, I'm the table, oh, he's got anger issues, right?
Mama issues.
You know what I mean? So it's like we're held to a completely different standard. So that's why I love coming on shows like this, where I can share with you guys and just shoot the shit and talk about what matters in life. So
okay, now we have somebody in the chat that says it's different if you're a virgin, but if you're not a virgin, test the water. You want to be satisfied mentally and physically. What do you say to that?
You're not a virgin. You know, I truly believe that, like, you know how some people want to be like born again virgins?
Yeah.
That phenomenon. I mean, aside from the fact that it's not possible to be a born again virgin, I do think that you can start a relationship with someone and build intimacy from ground zero and build it the way you want it to. I had sexual partners in the past. I don't remember those instances. I think we forget. It's not like if you go out and have a bunch of threesomes, you're going to remember the threesomes that you've had for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? You're going to forget that stuff. And so you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be laying in bed with the woman, the man that you said yes to. And you're gonna have to find ways to build a fulfilling sexual life with that person. So it doesn't matter what your past was, you're still gonna have to communicate.
Yeah,
You're still
but you're
gonna,
talking
which
as a
is why I
man.
agree with Leslie Jones in that
But you're
last
talking as a
clip.
man, though, right? You're talking as a man. Do women have that same? I could put the shit in the garbage can and forget about it. Like if a woman got some Primo Johnson, right? She's carrying that shit with her for a while, right? So if she marries you, you know, maybe you're like Primo minus. And she got Primo, and you know, now she loves you and all that. But you don't think she gets a little inkling about, God damn, I had Primo, you know? And, you know, I mean,
this nigga's a homosexual.
women, I mean, that to look at that. You got a woman who's like deeply immersed in sexual encounters. She's carrying that shit with her for a lot, the trauma and everything else. So I'm not a therapist, but I'll tell you this: not talking about SA or assault, but every single woman's trauma leads back to the tip of a man's penis. If you talk to them, I don't care what it is, you have a couple of conversations, you peel back that onion, and just about all of their trauma leads back to some guy in their past who banged them out and left them dry, you know? So I'm just saying that's why they shouldn't have as much sex as men do.
But can I be honest?
Here's the one thing I haven't heard. I know we're getting out of here. I've never heard a man on all these panels say, "Oh man, I had too much pussy. I don't know what to do." I have never heard a man say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the
I don't know.
I already know.
Mr. Chosen, what do you have to say about our Payne's therapeutic words of every woman's trauma is when you peel back the onion, there's the head of a penis there.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of truth to that. I actually wrote that down. I may use that.
He got that in his history too.
I think there's a lot of truth to that.
But ain't you a part of that
I will
history?
just say the one piece about women carrying their past sexual encounters and that like niggling feeling of, you know, could I want that guy that I had back in college again? Yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility. But I also think a lot of women, they're willing to have a conversation about how to build a good intimate relationship, and which is why I think what Leslie Jones was saying is actually there's a lot of truth to that men should really be asking themselves, how can I make my dick work better? How can I take care of my health? Because, you know, it's interesting. All of us men, I don't know how many of you guys have long-term partners or whatnot, but anytime I say to my wife, "Oh, I went to the gym today," she's my biggest cheerleader. "Oh, I'm going to eat clean this week." Women just really want us to take care of ourselves, right? And they'll go out of their way to help us, but we got to be willing to do the work ourselves. So
yeah, but you got to an age of maturity when they realize that, right? You already said you had a past. You was busting them down too when you was in college. You was out there. So most of us remember our adult sex encounters. We may not know the nuances, but we can be in the car driving like, "Well, damn, okay." So let's be real with that, because we men, right? We don't forget. We never, just like most women don't forget the man who was knocking her down. They never forget that.
And Coach Ferg, you know the heartbreaking thing is, women do think about dudes that have knocked their back out. And sometimes you're dating these women, sometimes you're married to these women, sometimes you're in a committed relationship with these women. And like you said, they could be riding in the car and be like, and you be like, "What's wrong?" She said, "No, I got a migraine." And she's thinking about,
I just had a flashback.
oh yes, she's thinking about that dude that knocked her down. Or I'm gonna take it even further, because our pain, you know, me and you go off this wheel sometimes, and we discuss me and it make me want to run in front of a truck. So we're gonna do that for a second. Or you think about a woman when you're having sex with her, and maybe when you're having sex with her, she really don't like your sex like that. But the last dude who was hitting that thing up, down, side to side, backwards, in front of the ceiling fan, behind the garbage can, right? She's probably getting her orgasm quicker thinking about the guy who bust her down before you got with her. So while you in there looking her in her eyes and kissing her and saying, "I love you, baby," like,
You sound like it's a personal experience.
Yes,
Get off
Daddy.
there. You
She said, "Yes, Daddy. Yes, Daddy." And in her head, she said, "Billy, Billy,
yo, BMU.
BMU, I'm thinking I'm gonna go watch some Hodge Flint.
You done had a man turn red up here.
No, but so let me jump on it now. Let me. But let me get since y'all talking like that. It could be a
This nigga's a
song.
homosexual.
It could be a song. It could be a song. It could be perfume or cologne, and especially if she listening to that one song and it has all these sexual lyrics to it, and she got her eyes closed. And she just out there and she's singing, "You better be careful, my boy, because she ain't thinking about you. She's thinking about that." Right.
You shouldn't have listened to Tank, JT, like
sitting there listening to Tank. Please don't go.
And guess what?
You might get lucky, right?
JT, you in there working that thing.
If
You
she
said,
got
"Yeah,
to put
put
her
that
hand on
thing
your
up."
mouth
That's
so
what
you
she's
can
saying.
shut up, you know she ain't thinking about you. You get
She not thinking about you,
Right.
right?
Be quiet.
Hey, you know what? Jeff said something so. I wish Uncle Jeff was here so he could repeat it, but I'm gonna repeat it for him. Shout out to Uncle Jeff. Uncle Jeff, I seen him hanging out with the comedian today. I forgot his name. But anyway, Uncle Jeff said they asked him. A matter of fact, it was you, R-Pain, asked him, why good guys finish last? And he said, good guys don't finish last, but they don't fuck first.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And I think that is so profound. I think that all the dudes in the hood and ran through your wife. Now, I want to say this too. Lost in Translation had a great analogy one day. Lost in Translation. I'm trying to get it out without laughing. Lost in Translation said, imagine, close your eyes. So, Mr. Chose, I want you to imagine this. This analogy that the man right under you, pause, said. He said, a woman who's very promiscuous, she has her vagina on a chain and she's walking down the street and the vagina is just hitting the street, hitting cars, hitting walls of people's houses, hitting the sewer, coming back out, dragging down the road, and it's just getting beat all the way up. And she just drags it. And then she all of a sudden drags it through a bad neighborhood. And all of a sudden she gets to the end of the bad neighborhood and it's a big, nice mansion there. And she picks the vagina up off the chain and she walks up to the front door and knocks. And a handsome man opens the door and she says, "Here you go, Daddy. I want us to be together. Accept me for who I am." Now, Mr. Chosen, I'm gonna let you. What do you think?
We going off the rails.
What do you think, Mr. Chosen?
That's when you know it's almost the end of the show.
Is the bell going to go? Because I feel like class is going to be dismissed right on time.
But the bell rang.
So, Mr. Chosen, okay, so hold on. So I'm gonna ask you this for mental prowess. All right. So, do you think men do think about that though? Seriously, like in your profession, do you think men who are with women who are sexually promiscuous, do you think those men have those thoughts in their head, like when they're having sex with a woman that, damn, I'm in here having sex with her?
I mean, I don't hear that all that often, but I do say though that if we're gonna hold women to that standard, that they shouldn't beat their vaginas up, we shouldn't beat our dicks up either, right? Like, you know, I think that we can do better as men too. So so yeah, don't do the Houston spring break trip. Maybe plan something like in Idaho or something. I don't know.
But Iowa. Listen, I'm talking about Mr. Church. I'm talking about the mental the prowess of a man. Like if a man's with a woman and she's told him, "Hey, listen, baby, back in the past, you know, I did fuck all the linebackers from the Denver Broncos, and they really took me through there really bad, and they tore me up. But I love you now, and we're together, and it doesn't matter. I don't think about those men anymore. It's just us."
But your paraphrase kind of throws it off, BMU. The word fuck, a bunch of men. You know women don't talk like that when they talk to us.
Oh, yeah,
like, I've had sex, you know.
I've had a few.
I've had a few.
I've had a boyfriends. I have a past that I'm not proud of. And when they say that, you got to know the number. My uncle told me to say, my uncle says, when a woman tells you her number, to multiply it by 10. So, and I've heard women say this, even in my profession, even at my job, I've heard women say, you know what, girl? Listening to them talk to other women. The girl, he gonna have a nerve to ask me what my body count was. I told him 3. And I'm looking at her and I know it's 40 at least. I know for a fact she has not lived her whole life. As much as she's talk about having sex and swallowing and beating up, all that stuff she talk about with those ladies at work, she has had more than 3. But to please his ego, is what she said, stroke his ego, she gave him the lowest number possible. Right? Not knowing an 18-wheeler can drive in that thing and do a U-turn and not hit nothing.
But you do understand too, this is another thing that we should keep in mind too. It doesn't always have to be about how many men she had sex with, because she could have had sex with 3 terrible fucking men, and she sat there and it could be 1, and she sat there for 16 years with that dude, and he abused her and she abused him, and they just went through all kind of toxic ass shit, and then she didn't have a large a bunch of guys that she slept with. It was just that one guy. I think that's just as bad as a woman having a whole bunch of men, because she's used to that toxic ass relationship with him. One of the things that we do understand about human, whether they're women or men, is that we're creatures of habit. And one of the things I learned about women when I'm in a relationship with them is to look out for them bringing their other relationship in with me and them, right? And I've seen that so many times where women be talking to me and I be like, you must be talking to your last boyfriend, because I ain't did none of this shit that you just said I did. Or they would say something like, I went through this too many other times with other men. I'll be damned if I go through that with you. They tell you everything that you need to know. You just have to be willing to accept the truth that comes there. So it doesn't have to be that she has slept with a whole bunch of men. It could be one dude that sat there and slutted her out so damn bad where they got threesomes going on. She done had a train ran on her. She done, it's all kind of stuff that they did. And it could have been that one guy. And then for some odd reason, she ain't with that man no more. But now that you found her, I guarantee if she didn't unpack that shit before she came in the door with you, you're going to know about that relationship. You ain't gonna ask.
Let me say this. Let me just add this on a serious note.
Okay, go ahead.
One of this conversation that we're having right now kind of tells you, and men don't take enough credit for it. I don't think we're really that damaged that the women we love have had sex before. I think we handle that much better than we portray.
I think men suppress it.
No. I mean, I think most men who are married these days or been with real good sweethearts know that they've had a man before. You have absolutely no idea how freaky they were in that room.
And I don't think we're as.
I'm trying to give us credit.
No, and I agree with you, because I don't think that we actually, because I'm not interested in your sexual past in that manner. I know what you're going to tell me, and I don't know if I'm gonna be ready for when you tell me that shit. They tell you everything.
Right.
They tell you if they don't, that means that they don't trust you and they don't like your ass. A woman that gets comfortable, she gonna tell you everything you need to know.
I want to advise y'all to go do this. There's a documentary show or whatever on Netflix called Sex Life. And this there's this very successful man who's making a lot of money, got a big house. He has a housewife. They have children, great family. One day, the husband went in the kitchen and the wife left her laptop open with her journal in it. And he opened it and started reading the journal. Fucked his entire being up, because she had in the journal from years ago that she had downloaded to her laptop how big this man's dick was, how he fucked the shit out of her, how he slutted her out, fucked her in the pool, put her head in the pillow, beat that pussy to death. And guess what this man did? He went crazy. He started taking off work. He looked the man up and found the man, went to the man's gym, joined the gym the man go to, went in the shower looking at the man's dick, trying to see what's in his life. Has anybody seen this shit other than me?
I'm gonna go watch it now. I'm gonna see how crazy.
I just watch that shit.
He followed the man around trying to see what kind of dick his wife was taking. He looking like, damn. And he thinking, damn, his dick bigger than mine and everything. Like, he fucking went nuts. And guess what? The wife ended up running into the ex in the middle of the street. And guess what happened when she saw him? Pussy got wet immediately. And he knew it. When he saw them looking at each other, he said, oh, fuck, he gonna take my wife. And he knew it by reading the journal that this woman was still sexually attracted to this man, so much so that she was fighting it at one time. She was fighting that shit. And to the point where she ended up fucking him again.
So, but this is my thing though, black man. It's kind of like the same thing with women. You searching for something, you're gonna find it, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I know now that you read who you're on this panel.
I wouldn't.
If anybody in here walk in the kitchen and see their wife journal.
Trust me. Listen what I'm telling you. Listen what I'm telling you. I am not that motherfucking I don't have that no. I know, bro. I've been living long enough. I have talked to a lot of different types of women, and women would tell you some shit and it'll be unbelievable to you. They overshare all the time. They always overshare. I am not that, what is it, inquisitive? Yeah, I'm not that damn inquisitive about that. You got a journal, you keep that motherfucker so far because I'm not going to read it. I'm not. Because now I got to do something about it. So I start looking at shit. Now I got to do some shit about it. It's just like somebody going here and asking you, if you knew when you were going to die, would you want to know the date that you was going to die and how you was going to die?
No. But Mr. Chosen, listen.
It's that same thing. What you going to do about it?
Is that what you would tell a man, Mr. Chosen? Listen, some of the shit that your wife might have did in the past, don't dig. Is that something you would tell her as a therapist? Is that something you would tell a man?
Yeah, I mean, dig. You may not like what you find, right? That's I gotta go watch this show now because I feel like
yeah, it's called Sex Life. It's on Netflix.
You know, just back to this thing though about what do you do with a woman with a high body count? You're kind of just making a judgment. You're kind of analyzing it for decision-making abilities, right? And I think that's for every man or woman. The person I'm choosing to marry, do they come with a good track record of making decisions? Just like JT was talking about, the woman that was with man in toxic relationship for 16 years. Like if she's going to be in a toxic relationship for 16 years, does she have really good decision-making skills? Now, there could be abuse there, which is like, then I would give her a pass on that. But I think that's what these numbers mean. And you would need to see a track record of change and better decisions for me to want to be with someone who had a high body count. But
okay, so Mr. Chosen, one more thing, then I'm gonna get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say to the men out there who know that, say, let me give you an example. Right? I'm trying not to laugh because I know I'm trying not to look at our pain because he's gonna make me laugh because we do this all the time. So what happens when you get a guy that really knows his girl's sexual past and all the things that he knows that she did for the last man, she never does it for him?
That's real.
That's real shit. So I know you see
that's real shit,
right?
That happens already. I get people out talking about that all the time.
Please talk about it. Please go ahead.
Oh, that stuff is the stuff that hurts a man, because I mean, there's nothing like comparing your current guy to the guy that buried your head in the pillow. But then the guy that buried your wife's head in the pillow was so good that she didn't want to ruin the memory by letting you try. That's real hard.
Listen, Mr. Dave, that's some real. Go ahead, finish. Clip that shit right there. Go ahead. Bro, he just hit the nail on the head. The reason that they won't let you do it because they don't want to fuck up their memory from the last nigga that did
it. That's cool.
I'm not
clip that one for me, please.
Clip that, bro. Oh shit. Go ahead. The floor is yours, sir. Walk away.
But that's the real shit though. Like I think that's where the pain sets in.
Oh,
and so my thought is though, what's really going on in those circumstances is for a woman to shut the tap off for her current husband and to not go to that same place, I think it speaks to a lack of likability that she has for her husband. I think she's not fond of him, doesn't desire him, doesn't respect him, doesn't admire him. I think that's the reason why she says no. Because, like, you know, going back to this thing, like, BMU, when you were talking about, like, you know, having sex with a woman, with your woman, and thinking about that girl that you hit back in college and stuff like that, I think when you've found your wife, the mother of your kids, this woman that God put on the earth for you to meet and to marry and to be happily ever after, like, I'm blessed. I found that woman. I've said to my wife, if anything happens to her, I won't touch another woman until the day I die, because I know she'll be waiting for me in heaven. So I don't think that you have to lose the dream of having that type of love. And even if you find yourself in a marriage where it's stalled and maybe things aren't the way, I think you can get it back. I mean, I wouldn't do the work I'd do now if I didn't believe you can get it back. I think you can pour your love and everything you have into a woman. But the nice thing is that as men, when we pour into a woman this way, we get to ask them to pour it right back into us. And this is where a lot of men sleep on this opportunity, because you go to my Instagram feed, I tell men, be a better man, communicate, speak her language, make her feel chosen, make her feel cherished. I throw men under the bus all the time. But I say, when you do that, you maintain that moral high ground, and you can call her to be the best version of herself. So what you put in, she should be putting in the same. So, but yeah, I think if she's not letting you hit it like the guy in college, it's probably because she doesn't like you.
That's like that.
That means hey, you know how many men sitting in front of their screen right now, or sitting in the car looking at their phone doing this?
Hey, that's because he didn't do his homework.
Exactly.
I tell guys like this, man, you might want to hold off on having sex, man. I'm gonna tell you why. Let the oxytocin wear off, so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. You know, when the love hormones is flying, you overlook certain things. You know what I mean? You would have known she like Mr. Johnson St. Jock before you met her if you had did your research. You see what I'm saying? So,
or Lost. Let me ask you this, Lost, and Mr. Chose, all y'all. So, say for instance, you are intimate with your woman, and you want to do something different, like, or just something simple. Like, hey, let me turn my heat in front and back. And she like, I don't do that no more. It gives me bad memories.
I can get somebody else to do it. Don't worry, I can get somebody else to do it.
What happened?
No,
you're gonna clip that, aren't you?
I am.
Make sure you drop it and share it.
I will.
Oh man, these
I don't know
are the
if I'm
things.
putting it on my main feed, but I'll find some place to share.
These are the things, and I'm
me out of what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
These are the things that they tell you, bro. I'm telling you, women, like guys, I don't think a lot of guys listen to women. I don't even think that they talk to women so they can actually get the information out. That's why when they sit here talk about how many you got in a body count and how you ain't got to ask or nothing. Have conversation, especially when it comes down to taking her places, things that where because they internalizes all the memories. They got that's who take all the pictures. That's who write all in a journal. That's who they do all of this stuff because they love those moments. And I just think that when a woman, the older she is and she's still out here in that doggone dating field, she's going to have more and more experiences, and she's going to run up with St. Jock. And he's going to flip it. Now, understand this. The difference between us and women is this. We are not putting sexual compromise positions. They are. And a man don't want to picture his woman being pressled and her damn knees is to her ears and she's screaming for God have mercy. He don't want to. He don't want to have to visualize that shit, right? It is things that women will try to say to him, not to get him to visual it. But they mouth is so damn where this is what they do. This one time this guy I used to date. When they say that shit,
hold up, JT,
count how many times they say like this guy I used to date. Count how many times they say like this guy I used to date throughout your relationship with them. Count how many times they're telling you their body count then. That's what I mean. If we listen to them and we understand what they're saying, because they talk covertly.
But JT, how many men out here are in serious relationships and or married? Let me give you an example. Michael Jordan was the greatest bull to ever play the game, correct?
Yes.
All right. When Michael Jordan was in Chicago, oh my God, it was just a circus every time he hit the floor, right? And everybody think that was the best player ever came through Chicago. Now, Mike's no longer in Chicago right now, right?
Right.
But they still have a franchise, correct?
Yes.
Would that franchise ever be better than Michael Jordan?
No.
Absolutely not. How many women out here have played with Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan then retired, he done moved on with his life, and now you coming off the bench at a franchise that people don't even appreciate no more?
That's why you can't be so damn inquisitive. Quit being so goddamn nosy.
Just think about that shit. You coming off the bench and she's settling. Oh, look at little Pina. Come on, put it in. And the whole time she thinking about Dirty Dungeon. And Dirty Dungeon tore that ass up.
You know, I thought about something.
don't know, but
I mean, here's my thing, man. What I thought about, he was too busy looking at what she wrote about this other dude. What he should have been doing is looking to see what she said about him. And
She
if he
did
don't find himself, exactly. If you don't find yourself in that journal, you ain't him.
You ain't him.
And think about it, Lost. But think about it, Lost. This motherfucker is driving sports cars, beautiful mansion. She a stay-at-home wife. She taking care of the kids. And she at home in her journal writing about a dick she had from a nigga that didn't have none of that shit.
A lot of that's still his fault, though.
It's a hell of an incentive to get your shit together, ain't it?
Exactly. But that's a lot of this is validation, man. I think, you know, if anybody got daughters here, right, I would think that y'all daughters are moving opposite of what society is showing us on YouTube, right? And what women are actually, I don't think none of everybody here has a daughter on OnlyFans that's trying to show that monkey, right? Because a lot of that validation comes from the father who can give them that, right? Regardless of if they go to, they're going to, even LaToya Jackson, right? Remember, she was running around acting crazy. She never had a baby out of wedlock. She never spoke to the rhetoric as we hear Leslie Jones and women who have a voice to tell the young women, listen, don't commit to the most highest honor that a man can make you. However, you can still give up that monkey. You can still throw it around, and it's not a good message for women. She's 58. She's older than me. So I wouldn't see me telling guys, hey, be better, do the right thing. That's a message that's resonating more with men than women are telling younger women to move different than we were. Don't become the baby mama. And not necessarily you have to look for a husband early, but however, it's a lot of good men out here. And if they ain't good today, what I mean by good is they ain't at that money level. They're building and growing. Don't discount them early and you're going to go 40, 50 years single, but you still go have that little good dude that ain't got nothing to lose coming through and knocking you down. A woman love a good pipe. And a good pipe is memorable to a lot of women, and some good booty is memorable to a lot of men. So I just think the messaging has to be different from women because, I said about this, because I've seen in the time I've been on YouTube that men are growing to validate themselves.
She's just not a good candidate that'll be. She's not effective in the message that she said. I'm just saying she's just one pod into the movement, but she's not. It's kind of like she's kind of like the person that don't know how to play basketball, but they always talking shit about basketball. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why they talking shit is because they can't dunk, they can't shoot a J, but they always come into the damn court. but nobody pick them on the pick 'em up game. They never get picked. So the only thing that they're gonna do is talk shit about that little court over there. Them motherfuckers ain't shit over there. Them niggas don't be picking nobody over there. That's what she is. She's talking about marriage being slavery, but she ain't never been picked to be married. That shit don't sound good. So she's not an effective, right? She's not effective with her message. That's why I was saying the women of the likings of a Kendra G, or the women of the likings, somebody that's more where they got the proof in the pudding that dudes find them attractive, at least find them attractive. They don't find her attractive. Sorry. So she can say whatever the hell she want to say.
Kendra G and Dr. Brown ain't married either, so I wouldn't listen to either one of them either.
None of the spinsters who are talking all this shit are worth. They shouldn't be saying shit about it. You know, Dr. Right. Brown, I don't care how fine, Dr. Brian and all of them. None of them have kids, and they're not married. And all of this advice. I mean, get the hell out of my face.
And yeah, because Dr. Brown, you wipe that makeup off her face. She could definitely be a stunt double for Nightmare Before Christmas.
She look like Trey Songz. She look like Trey Songz.
Terrible.
I don't try to belittle her. She's.
I ain't gonna belittle her. I'm just saying, take that makeup. No, you're attracted to the makeup. I'm saying to you, tell her to go ahead and put some Clorox on her napkin.
If I was a regular man, I think I'd knock out probably. Yeah,
you would love that makeup until you turn over and see the decaying face of Prince next to you.
That's the Social Security talking. That don't listen to our pain. That's
I don't care.
That's the AARP talking. Don't listen to him.
I would flip my AARP card out there too. And say, I mean, she could get some. I mean, let's be honest. You know, like Leslie Jones, I would have to have like real stage lighting or some shit.
Turn the lights off.
A strobe light.
Take it to the waist down. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say this before we get out of here, Mr. Chosen. Thank you so much for being here tonight, man. I appreciate it, brother. You could come back anytime you want.
Oh, I'd love to. It was great hanging with you guys.
Fridays, man. And so you come back anytime you want, bro. I'll be sending you invites if you can make it. That'd be great.
Would love
because you dropped a whole bomb on Baghdad tonight. When you said the reason that women won't let a man do what the last man did is because she don't want to lose the memory of that other man that did it. You don't know. I was gonna put up the suicide hotline number after you said that, because most men may need that tonight as they go to bed. Because I think no man, I don't care who you are, our pain can do all the talking he wants to. No man wants to imagine another man slapping his dick on your wife's face.
Why you use my name today?
I'm not talking about you specifically.
I'm just shit. Flashbacks.
I'm not talking about you specifically.
Hey, but you know what? I am the only guy up here, and I told you guys this before when my wife was trying to tell me some shit about her past. I said, I don't want to hear a goddamn thing. Just make sure if you
shut your damn mouth.
Just make sure if you learn some shit, I better get the benefit. I should be the beneficiary of that shit.
And guess what, R-Pain? And guess what, R-Pain? And guess what?
Tricks you have, make sure I get some.
And guess what? When Earl was hitting that ass, Earl said, "Now when I finish, you take this pussy and give it to R-Pain. You understand? You show him. You show him what I told you."
Hey.
Listen, so now I gotta go. So now I gotta go find out everybody she knows named Earl, and they gotta start disappearing. All the Earls will start disappearing.
Is it Earl John? Is it Earl Ray?
Oh my God! Well, Mr. Chosen, man, I had fun tonight, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys. This was great. It was a ton of fun.
I followed you too, man, on IG. Also, I just followed you on IG.
Oh, great!
IG
thank
too,
you.
man.
I'll shoot you.
And Mr. Chosen, before you go, can you please tell everybody how to follow you so they can?
Yeah, basically, it's my name, Jonathan Van Vegan, over on Instagram. And on Facebook too, people can find me there. And I've got this little YouTube channel that I'm trying to grow every single day, Relationships with Jonathan. So come and find me over there. So
absolutely, man. And when you come on, brother, every time you come on, man, we love to share the content with you, man. So like we're doing tonight, brother, so you can stream it over there. And absolutely, bro. So we're here to support. Thank you so much. Lost in Translation. has his own label out right now, man. He popping out music every day like women in Siberia are popping out babies. So Lost in Translation, tell us about this music thing you got going on, my brother.
Here's the thing. I got a lot of music going on, and the music I'm making now is to help relationships better. I kind of like to take the message of how to heal one another and put it to a beat. You know what I mean? Just something somebody can remember. And the label that I have out now is Lit Records. And I got two artists, Indigo Major and Agent Minor is a guy and a girl. We go back and forth, and they talk about different things, about different relationships. They out on Spotify, Apple Music. Indigo Major's album is called the Major Soul Project. And Agent Minor is A Table for One. So it's on Apple Music, Spotify, and everywhere else. It's out. And I also got a couple of gospel albums coming out too. This Friday and next Friday, and also working on a rap album as well. So no genre of music is safe for me. If whatever music you like, and I need to get a message to it, I'm gonna wrap it up in the type of music that you like, and I'm gonna give it to you, and we're gonna heal each other. So I appreciate y'all if y'all check it out and streaming. Like I said, on Apple Music, Spotify, and you can also buy it on Amazon, and you can buy it on iTunes as well too. So you can keep it with you. Appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate that. Coach Berg has a stripping engagement this weekend for a nursing home. Our Pain is joining him. I think JT is the sponsor.
I'm retired. I'm
Oh,
retired.
okay.
I'm a DJ now.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, they call Coach Berg and Our Pain when they go strip for the old people at the nursing home. They call them. Well, I forgot the name they call them. I think it's Bump Big Sexy or some shit like that. But anyway. just put that out there. Coach Berg say nigga. But I appreciate it, man. I love y'all, brother. Appreciate it. Mr. Chosen, I'll send you more links to come join us.
Definitely.
On the shows, man, because we have a lot of good times, man, especially on Friday nights when we do barbershop. We hadn't done a barbershop in a while. I got to get that back cranking up. My kids keep me occupied on the weekends. But we'll definitely do that. And because the last time I still got it posted, are white women a threat to the black women in the dating game?
I was gonna touch it, but I didn't have nothing. I was gonna touch it, but I didn't have nothing.
We gotta talk about it. So I'll let you know, Mr. Chosen, when we do that one. But yeah,
great.
until next time, man. We love y'all. Peace. We out of here.
Amazing, guys.
Yeah. Black Man Unfiltered Network. We ain't here to play nice. We here to flip everything they told you was normal. Hey! Yeah. Hey! We flipping tables. Yeah! We breaking labels. Facts! No more silence, no more favors. Truth hit hard, can't save it. Yeah! We flipping tables. This that real, no cable. Hey! If it's fake, we unplug it. Welcome to the table. Yeah. I came in the room, they was comfortable, quiet. Smiling in your face, but behind it is riot. They told me be calm, but I'm built for the storm. When the truth in the building, you better transform. They don't like a man when he speak with direction. They love you when broken, confused, and correction. But I'm on a mission, I'm changing perception. No filter, no fear, just raw intersection. System designed just to keep you disabled. Mentally trapped, spiritually labeled. I'm cutting the cords, the lies getting fatal. If it ain't the truth, I'm flipping in the table. We flipping tables. Yeah, we breaking labels. Facts. No more silence, no more favors. Truth hit hard, can't save you. Yeah, we flipping tables. They said don't question, I said watch me. Too many men out here living sloppy. No guidance, no code, no structure, no lead. Now we wonder why families bleed. This ain't hate, this accountability. Look in the mirror with this vulnerability. Masking and frame with responsibility. That's what they fear, that's stability. I'm calling it out, no sugar, no glaze. We breaking these cycles, we shifting in the phase. Legacy built, not lost in the maze. We done being silent, we enter a rage. This ain't just a podcast, it's a movement. It's a reset. If it's built on lies, it gotta fall. We flip the tables. No fear, no favor. Flippin Tables podcast. Black Man Unfiltered Network. If it don't make you uncomfortable, it ain't real.